I do have to warn you. I'm gonna have to bounce in like 20 minutes just to go change some laundry, and then I'll be
Oh,
back.
okay. All right. Hey everyone, on YouTube and on Facebook, we are live, the GameHounds. How are you?
I'm also on a delay, and I can hear you.
Your your
I can
video
hear
is
you in the
really
microphone.
bad. I don't know. Well, you can't see you're only seeing your own video. Your video is very bad.
It's laggy, but like I can hear myself through your uh
My
feed
headset?
because like the headphones are so close to the mic. Yeah.
Is that better?
I think
Oh,
so.
no, I can still hear myself. Test,
Then
test.
that's not it cuz
Yeah,
my
yeah.
I
Nope, I can't hear myself.
okay. All right. So, let's
Oh,
see.
is it just video lagging?
Yeah, your video quality is really low.
Yeah, it's like 380p.
Yeah. So, Game Hounds Podcast. Hi, everyone. We're back, and we've got a three-chair show again, finally, after weeks. Goalie was filling us in on a very shitty January
Yeah,
and
probably
December.
probably one of the most difficult months of
Oh,
my life. Yeah.
wow, man. Holy shit.
Yeah, you're.
That's a lot of rough all at once.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just I mean health issues, personal issues,
yeah, it was.
business issues. The wife's not feeling good. Yeah.
And we already got our first heart. We already got our first like. Yay! Thank
All
you,
right.
Sean. Thank you for that heart. I see that you did that. All right. So, anything we need to talk about before we fire off this podcast?
Mm,
Um,
I have
no?
not got much to talk about.
I didn't bring anything. I just brought my smiling self.
That's all right. Your smiling
Yeah,
self is all we need.
I didn't play much different. I have
Me either.
play a few things that I can talk about.
Yeah, I can talk about.
That's what happens when you play the same game for
I
Yeah.
actually I
several
actually got
months.
I got a code from a tiny build on
Oh,
one of their games.
wait. Ah, shit.
What
There was a sale on PSN, and I think
yeah,
it ended at 8 a.m.
Oh,
Did it
And
end at 8 a.m.? Because I was going to talk about it.
yeah, I think it did because
Uh,
it ended on the 5th, and usually their sales end
let's
at 8
see.
a.m.
Let's see. Ends February 18th.
Oh, the one I was looking at ended on the 5th.
Okay, there's another one that's ending on February 18th. That's pretty awesome.
Okay.
What were you looking at getting?
Oh, just a couple small games.
What?
Trying to remember them. I
Because
think
it's.
one was called the Moose Man.
I don't see that here.
Um,
Yeah, because they're having their Critics' Choice sale right now.
oh yeah, that's so far from what I was looking
Right.
for.
Because the Critics' Choice sale is really good. In fact, I may pick up.
I don't want no critics' choice. I
I
want to
don't
play
want
the
good
shit the critics
games.
didn't even know
Fuck
existed.
the good games. I want the shitty games.
I want to play the stuff they didn't know existed.
And I
Let's
have
see.
just to talk about Anno 1800. Which Goalie doesn't know anything about, so we will talk about it. Anno 1800. kind of in
check
a
your
special way.
emails. I got a Steam code for that tiny build game. Was it not for broadcast?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's coming out.
I downloaded. I haven't played it yet, but I saw it. I was like, this looks neat. And then the tiny build sent me that email. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to check it out and stream it and review
yeah,
it or
we do
whatever.
actually a lot of codes for Steam games, and now that I've got a laptop that's a PC laptop that's powerful enough to be able to do something with it, I'm to actually play a game.
I
I'm
mostly
gonna be
play
doing that
Steam
more.
now. I mean, if I get on PlayStation, I just play Star Wars and shoot them up. But I've been kicking like right because I've been feeling so shitty. I'll just sit here, kick my feet up, and I've been playing a damn jigsaw puzzle game on Steam. I'm addicted to it. It's stupid, but it's like when you don't
Jigsaw puzzles on Steam.
jigsaw puzzles. It's
Okay.
great.
Right.
I downloaded a
Whatever.
couple of DLC packs.
Whatever floats your boat.
You should have seen the hot dog I put together the other night.
I gotta go get some coffee. So, and then we will start the actual show. AC Wraith, our link bitch is in the
Oh,
chat room.
Nick,
Hi.
I got a question for you,
Hmm.
Nick.
Hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm
I'm here.
thinking once I feel better and things get better, I'm thinking about starting up a mystery sci-fi horror podcast. And
Okay.
I'm wondering if you want to contribute some ideas to it. Because I know you did
Okay.
some right now. What it's going to be, right?
Yeah.
It's nothing original, okay? It's not an original idea by any means, okay? But I listen to a
Okay.
lot of those crazy podcasts, right? And so this one's going to be called Grandpa's Hidden Chest, and it's about a guy that goes to his grandfather's house that he didn't know very well, and he's cleaning out his house, and he finds this chest like hidden behind some stuff, and he opens it up, and there's like photos and maps and notes and all these audio cassettes, and he puts in the audio cassettes, and it's his grandfather talking about, he was a special agent for the government, and he's going to talk about vampires and aliens and ghosts, and it's just every episode is going to be a new tape, okay, so he goes, let me tell you what happened here, and I have
It's
on
like
my
13 Reasons Why with
well, it's
vampires
just
and
it's just it's like the black tapes or the white tapes. There's all these podcasts out there,
Yeah.
people that they play a tape of somebody talking. So I'm like, so I just wanted to do that. I just thought it'd be kind of neat. It's all fictional. It's all made up stuff.
Oh
It's like
yeah.
that hole they were drilling in Russia. That's what 7 miles deep, and they
Right.
put the microphone in. They thought they heard people in hell screaming. I could take that and run with it. You know what I mean? So I mean,
That's cool.
I have a whole bunch of show ideas, like anything from the Jersey Devil theories to Bigfoots, and I can say because this grandfather guy, he was the watchdog for the government. He would go and he would just observe. So he wasn't necessarily the lead man on any of these things, but he would and he finally couldn't take it anymore, and he had to put all his experiences on tape so somebody would find it.
So
if
when we're not doing the show with other people listening, Goalie, you and Nick and I should talk about.
well, I was asking Nick
the
if he had any.
project.
Oh
If
yeah. I can't think of anything at the moment, but I'll definitely
Yeah,
like
but if you come up with any,
contribute
like
something to that.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
what one of them is going to be how he was in Antarctica, and they stumbled on a UFO buried in ice, and I'm going to talk about that story. Stuff like that.
Hmm.
And it's just every week. I have actually a portable tape thing, so I can actually put the tape in and slam it shut and hit the button, so you can
Oh,
hear it.
cool.
So I have a few sound effects I'm going to use. But it's just going to be silly, stupid stuff. It's nothing to be taken seriously, but I think
Oh yeah.
it'd be fun, like, because every episode could be something completely different on a tape, and it could just be whatever, and
I'm okay with that.
so if you have any ideas, we could talk about it, or if any of the listeners too, if anybody has a good imagination, let me know, because I have I found a way to manipulate my voice and make it sound like an old cassette tape, and it doesn't sound like me. So I will be the grandfather's voice. So I'll be say, so I'll be like,
Cool.
yeah. So let me
Nice
tell you
stuff,
about my trip to Japan, but it won't sound like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I did, it just it'd be kind of like an X-Files type thing,
Mm.
So
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. All those podcasts that are just like that. So,
Sorry.
I've been listening to it on
I'll have-
YouTube. There's been a ton of them that I've been listening to, and it's like, one guy's like, I died and I went to heaven for 6 minutes, and I never want to go back to heaven again. and then he talks about and he goes,
good. I like that
he goes
idea.
off, and then one guy's like, we found a historical document in a cave, and it was a first person account of the crucifixion of Christ. And it was like, so it was like great topics, but there's one guy that his voice is just, and his presentation is terrible, and it's like, you have great topics, but I can't listen to you. He's like, and then I went to the store, and there were footprints behind me, and I turned, and there was nobody there. And I'm like, no, have somebody else read this. It's a great story, but you can't do it. But there was other ones I'm finding out, and there's all these dark things, and I've always been into the old time radio stuff.
If you want to do something like that, I am all about that.
I didn't even think we could actually get in on it and have different voices, but I was just gonna be me reading and then having
Yeah.
that tape. I mean,
Yeah.
we could definitely get other people on there too. I mean, I
Sure.
don't know how
No,
crazy I
I,
was.
I totally. Already trying to think of ideas, and I'm thinking like I gotta start listening to some of those shows again, just to, you know, get some ideas for that. Maybe we'll rip
Because I'm
one of them
thinking
off.
because if I kind of base it on someone my age or maybe a little younger, I mean, so he could have grandfather could have been around during the war, but he also could have been alive right up through 2000. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna have him actually like disappear. So he never really was found dead. So did he disappear? Was he killed? Did he die? Did he run away? Whatever the deal was. So he's gonna be a mysterious guy, But so I could talk about stuff around World War II, all the way up through the internet.
I
You know
like
what
the
I mean?
idea of actually having this grandfather being the uniting thread through all stories. So Nick could tell a story, but
Oh no,
this
like he's
one
telling
guy
the,
keeps showing up
no,
in
like
all of these stories.
he's telling the story. These are all tapes that the grandpa had.
Yeah.
The
So
grandpa's like, man, I've got so much shit, I just need to say it.
Right.
And like
yes,
that's the goal
exactly.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all him recounting stuff.
So he's and what I thought would be good too is instead of having him be the lead guy, he was going to have all these different identities, and he would go. So when they sent the people into Hitler's bunker, let's say, he was with that group, okay, as a young kid, and he's going to have special abilities. I think he's going to have some kind of sensory things, like he could hear people
He's
coming
like
to
Forrest Gump. He's been around for everything.
Well, it's just one of these things. He's not going
Kinda, yeah.
to have superior
Supernatural Forrest
strength.
Gump.
But I mean, some people have a little bit more sensory perception of
Yeah,
things. So he could sense when people are lying, let's say. He could sense when someone was going to walk into a room. He knew 10, 15 seconds before someone was coming into that room. So, I mean, he had little things like that the government wants. And the government's like, okay, we're going to use you. You know what I mean? And so the government used him. And so he would go and he would, like, when they had an exorcism, he would be the man outside the room watching the exorcism rather than the man in the room performing the exorcism. So I thought he would be like he'd just describe what he saw. And I thought it'd be kind of neat. You know what I mean? Having one guy talk about, like I said, getting it off his chest. Before I die, you need to know this stuff.
And like that's a good idea from a production side, because like it's just you talking.
Yeah.
Like that's all you need. You don't need a cast of people, because that just makes things harder.
Yeah. But I mean, we could. I mean, there could be times we could do that, because he's gonna have a wife. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And the wife at first is not going to be in on it, but then over time he tells her and she's in on it and the whole bit. I have that background all laid out in the first episode, but so Edie could play the part of the wife, and she could get in on talking a few things too. And I think that might be kind of neat actually, is if there's a tape in there that was his wife made a tape. You know what I mean? Or someone else made a tape. So I mean, so it doesn't
From
have
the
to
wife's
just be
point
me.
of view. I like that.
So he went away. And he come back and something wasn't right. Something wasn't right about him.
Interesting. All right.
So if you have any ideas for a tall tale, I kind of want to base it around, the UFO, the ghost, the vampires, exorcism.
Yeah, all the kind of
supernatural
urban legends.
Urban legend stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Bigfoot, Bermuda Triangle, the pyramids, aliens. One of the things is he had seen contact with aliens, and some are good and some are bad, and you can go in many directions with that one there. But I thought it'd be interesting. I love listening to him, and I thought I could try to create something.
All right. So on that note, speaking of creating something, let's create a podcast. And you saw what Donnie said, right? I would listen to it as soon as you posted a show. GameHounds would be listened to after that show, Goalie.
Oh, thank you so much, Donnie. I love listening to that stuff. I'm an old time radio guy on satellite radio. I love all that, suspense and the ghost stories, but they're all dated though, because they were all made in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. Some of those, and they're still good, but they're dated. CBS did some in the 70s and 80s that were okay, but the newer ones are good. I do like the newer ones because they incorporate technology. Internet, cell phone, stuff like that.
That's kind of the cool things about podcasts in general, is it just gave all that old like audio dramas a new life.
Yeah. And I like how they've incorporated like modern day, and it's really good. I like that stuff there. Have you guys ever seen Unfriended, the movie?
Yeah. I saw both of them.
I haven't seen the new one. I saw the other one the other day.
Second one's
for the second
okay,
time.
but
It-
yeah, the first one's that's really good.
It was good. It was
That's-
good.
That's a movie that looks like it's just a dumb gimmick, but when you watch it, you're like, this is actually very
works.
well done.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
The
very
gimmick
good.
was great.
All right. So on that note, podcast. Sure.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna have to go in 5 minutes to move my laundry. Move it into the dryer.
All right. Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 531. We are recording this on February 5th, Wednesday, 2020. I'm Edie Sellers. We have Nick DiNicola as usual, but we have a holy goalie this week. Yay! Goalie is back.
Yeah. It's been sickness and terrible month.
This is, I actually checked it out earlier. This is the first podcast that you've been on in 2020. The last time you were on was in December.
It's been a bad 2020. In fact, we last Friday, me and Ron recorded the first digital dice of 2020. I have done nothing. It's been just bare bones work in bed. And then last week, I got hurt playing hockey and I was in a lot of pain. And I was like, I'm not coming on. I'm just miserable.
Yeah. So we have the chat room. Chat room is up and going. We have AC Wraith is in the Spreaker chat, and we also have in the YouTube and Facebook chat. It looks like we've got Donnie Eddington and AC Wraith is in there as well because he is our link bitch. How are you guys? How was the week? Anything interesting happen? I finished up the final season of The Good Place. Such a good show.
Don't say anything. Is it on Netflix yet?
It is on Amazon Prime only. No,
Okay.
sorry. It is on Amazon Prime. We purchased it on Amazon Prime because we tried to start watching it on the NBC app, and it was so full of commercials that you ended up watching more commercials than you actually watched episode.
Yeah.
It was like 3 minutes of show, 5 minutes of show, and 7 minutes of commercials, and it was breaking up the comedy so much that it fucked up the flow. So we actually paid for an Amazon Prime. I think it was $25 for the whole season. So we paid the $25 for the whole season.
Yeah,
It's really good.
I know
mean,
that
it's slow, and it almost seems sometimes like it's having a hard time wrapping up. But just say, bring your tissues.
Okay.
It's a crier.
Is it a porno?
I know it's a really, Goalie. If you have not watched this show,
I bring tissues to pornos. I mean, for different reasons.
You're a sicko.
I cry a lot.
Really
It was
good
beautiful.
show-
It was so beautiful.
It's just so emotional.
It's just the love between those 8 people is unbelievable. They must really love each other. They're taking turns and they're hugging and she just it just
so much love. So much love.
It's just
You're such a fucking idiot. But if you want to watch a really good show, and like if you go back down again and you want to binge watch something, binge watch The Good Place.
okay.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on it's on
The-
Netflix. Everything except the final season.
The last season should be coming out like within a week, if not a couple weeks.
Yeah, and
That's why I'm
is
gonna watch it. 'cause,
Such.
yeah.
Kevin doesn't laugh at anything, and he discovered it on his own, and I could hear the music, the like interstitial music, and I recognized it, and I went. I'm like, "Are you watching the show? Are you watching The Good Place?" He's like, "Yeah," and I go, "Oh, it's so good." All I could do for like the first 4 nights that he was watching it is hear him laughing out loud. It is laugh out loud funny. Like you are not, you're going to be falling over laughing. Remember Goalie, remember MASH, how funny that was?
Oh, yeah,
It's
that was good.
MASH funny.
Oh, good. Okay. Match is good.
Yeah.
She's been watching, we've been down and out watching TV, and we tried to watch Lost in Space, the second season on Netflix. Lost in
Yeah.
Space season 1 was great. Holy cow. Season 2, we watched an episode or two. It was too much.
Like
Yeah.
Just
what
there was
changed?
there was no the first I don't know if we watched 1 or 2 episodes, but it just was like you never could catch your breath. You know, it's like somebody falls and they catch you, then somebody grabs them and they fall, and then they're slipping on ice, and then they get in the ship, and the ship, runs out of gas,
Like
and then
nonstop action, always
nonstop. It's like
something.
one calamity after another, and it just got to a point where I looked at her, she looked at me, and it's like, boy, this is just too much.
Yeah.
They could never ever get on solid footing without something bad happening. It's like, it just, oh man. So I didn't care for that. She started watching. Was it The Good Girls?
Good Girls? I know that's a show.
It was
Yeah.
about the 3 girls that they robbed a convenience store because they all needed money. And it reminds me a lot like Weeds. It's very, very like Weeds. We were just these regular suburban housewives that get wrapped up in stuff. And it seemed okay, but it just seemed too. It was like it's just one after another. They could never ever get settled for more than a few minutes. It was always something bad happening. It was just like, oh man, it's interesting, but yeah. So I tried to watch a couple of those. Didn't go that well.
What have we been playing? I have finished up the quote unquote campaign.
You keep talking. I have to go to get some laundry.
He has to go switch out his laundry. I've been playing the campaign of Anno 1800. Now, Goalie, you missed my review last week of Anno 1800.
Yeah.
Think SimCity meets Civilization. It is a city building sim, but there is political intrigue in that there are other islands and other countries, other empires around you who are declaring war on you, asking for alliances from you. So it becomes this political thing, as well as it being, as well as it also being a city building game. And it is deep as fuck. And
I've heard of that. I don't know if I play it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And there is a campaign that has a story behind it that has to do with you returning back to your to the city of your birth and origin, where your family is. Your sister is still there, your father is still there, but your father is the king, and your father's brother, so your uncle, has taken over, has essentially mounted a coup against your father and had your father declared a traitor. And then your father mysteriously hangs himself in prison.
Is this a Dragon Age game or a SimCity game?
It's way more a SimCity
I mean,
game
if
than
I were
it
to
is.
look at it, what am I looking at?
You would look at something that seems like SimCity.
Okay.
And then that sometimes seems like Civilization, because it's not just building. You put down blocks of building and roads and industries, and these industries are multi-tiered, multi-level. Like if your populace needs one of the things that they need in order to evolve from farmers into workers, and then from workers to artists, and then from artists to engineers, they each need a level of equipment to make them happy in order to allow you to evolve a certain block from a farmer block to, say, a worker block. And one of those things would be they need work clothes. Well, in order to have work clothes, you have to have a sheep farm, and you also have to have knitters, and then you have to transport the wool from the sheep farm to the knitter. And then the knitter has to pump it out, and it pumps it out in a certain rate. and the rate of pumping out the knitting is going to be different than the rate of the pumping out of the wool. So you've got to create enough knitters to, like, say that you have
Okay.
wool that arrives every 30 seconds, but knitters that only knit once every minute. So you would need 2 knitters for one.
You didn't mute his mic?
2 knitters for every 1 sheep farm.
Okay.
And you can have worker shortages. You can have it's a really interesting game, and there's lots of little things that happen. And then, of course, there's the bigger world of politics, which is asking you to do missions. It's also sailing involved as well.
This sounds. Did you look into the game on Steam called Frostpunk?
Oh yeah, I played Frostpunk.
Is it similar?
Nothing like Frostpunk.
Really? Okay, because what you were describing kind of sounded like. I haven't played it, but I was looking into it. It kind of looked like Frostpunk. Well, what you were describing sounded like Frostpunk.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's more like it is more like SimCity than it is anything else. In fact, I'm going to try to pull it up right now into my chat because I forgot how to play. Can you hear me still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just share the screen. Or share the tab.
Share it. All right. Is it sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me get out of this. Sorry for all the crappy ads. So if you look,
okay,
you can see that it's a city building game. You are actually building a city and placing things and placing people. You have to have enough workers for your industry. You have to have the industry balanced for certain things. Like one of the requirements is for farmers to progress to workers is they need schnapps. So you have to put down potato fields like this guy is.
Schnapps is in schnapps?
Schnapps, yeah.
Peppermint schnapps? Root beer
Yes.
schnapps?
Well, just schnapps. They're not real particular. It's potato schnapps. So you have to put down potato field, and then you have to make a schnapps distillery in order to get the schnapps. And you can see it down on the thing. You've got potato that leads to schnapps. Then you got to create roads, and ultimately your goal in the campaign is to get through the story to find out what happened and to avenge your father and to take back your stolen legacy. And you not only sail from what they call the old world, but into the new world, which is essentially like to the Caribbean, the new world. This is more like the starting area, and then there's another world, and then you've got to create transports because things back in the old world require, at a certain level, like your artists are going to require cigars and rum. You can't make cigars and rum in the old world. They must be made in the new world. So then you've got to create shipping lines that transport, if not the actual material that you need or actual product you need, the materials in order to make it so that you can make it in the new world. Or in the old world. It's crazy. Same thing with the old world. The old world or the new world will mean certain things that must be made in the new world. Sorry, the new world means the things required must be made in the old world. So you've got to take sewing machines from the old world and ship them to the new world to make your new world colonies grow.
I've played games.
I've
played games like this, and I've had some limited fun. The problem that I have with these games is, like you said, you see all the controls at the bottom. That's just one tab, and this is like 9 tabs down there that you could open up, and they all are different. I just, at some point, my eyes glaze over, and I just get lost in these things. I'm like,
it's not so bad.
But I mean, knowing
I played it on a laptop. It's not as hard as you think. It looks way more complicated.
Because I've played the SimCity stuff, and I've had limited success, but there does come a point where there's way too many things to do. There's way too many buttons. I'm kind of lost, and like, I just give up because, like, man, I'll never learn all this, and it's just I never keep up with it, and I fizzle out of these games. As fun as they are, and I have limited fun with them, I tend to shy away just because there tends to be too much going on.
It definitely has a lot going on. It was one of those games that I ended up playing. God, I played this game until 4 o'clock in the morning. I sat down and played it for 16 hours straight. And it really, and I got, but just to, now that you're caught up, Goalie, I played, I finished up the campaign, and it's a pretty satisfying campaign, but the amount of work at the end of the campaign, it's supposed to end in the sandbox mode, which is fine. It's great. But they give you a project. You're left with kind of this situation you have to fix. That's your end game. And it is mind numbing how much work it's going to take in order to fix what they've given you. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I find myself lately when I look at a game to play, like I was looking at that game Frostpunk, which is, it seems kind of similar to this, where you're building stuff and you got to make decisions on whether the kids are working the factory so they can help produce stuff or not, and if somebody gets hurt, what are you going to do? But you're trying to save the civilization in this world full of ice and snow, and build, like I said, you build the heating factories and stuff like that. And it looked interesting, but the more videos I watched on it, it's like, yep, I can see myself just being totally frustrated and totally lost at some point when it just gets to be too much.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at games, I really got to see how deep they're going to be. And I just know myself, here's Frostpunk. It looked fun, but the more I get into it, I was just like, it just gets to me with my old mind and old body now. I can't get into anything too deep, and I mean, unless it ramped up at such a pace that, I could really, spend a lot of time on level 1 stuff and then a lot of time on level 2 stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But even the sports games, I tell you, I failed the tutorials in Madden. I failed the tutorials in NBA 19. I just, when they throw all that stuff at me, my eyes gloss over. And I'm like, okay, move on to the next game.
Yeah, Frostpunk there's an element of that, but this Anno 1800 is way more complicated. This is more of a strategy game, and Anno 1800 is more of a city building game. AC Wraith wants to know, what if it was a space game? Did everybody leave the podcast but me? Really? Fantastic. Great. Goalie, are you okay? Goalie? I really hope he didn't have a heart attack or something and just died. Oh, he's on the phone. Got it. All right. So, so that's what I played. And Anno 1800 is an Ubisoft game, which required me to sign in on their Ubisoft servers, which, you have to go through Origin and everything, which is a bit of a challenge when you're, I was concerned. Oh, thank God you're back, because Goalie had
Where did Goalie go?
Goalie had a phone call.
Oh,
so
yeah, no, it's fucking the washing machines at these places. At this place, I go up and it says there's 5 minutes left. After I gave it 40 minutes instead of 30 minutes, because when I left it originally it said 30 minutes. I give it 40. I come back, it says 5. So I'm sitting there. Like 5, I can't just come back and sit down here for 3 minutes and then go back. So I'm like, 5 minutes, okay, da 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 da. What the fuck? It's been longer than 5 minutes. I look back, 2 minutes left. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you need to time that thing to know exactly what it really means.
I need to give it like 20 extra minutes. Like I always undersell it. Anyways, what were we talking about? AC Ray says, what if it was a space game?
We were talking about
I like
Frostpunk. We went from 1800, Anno 1800 to Frostpunk, which is another game I really want to play, because that is more of a micro thing where you've got one area. It's the opposite. Anno 1800 is big.
I think that one was on sale during the sale that I was looking forward to.
Oh, really? Is that on PSN or is
the one that literally
PC?
just ended? It's on PS4.
Oh,
yeah.
Because this, I think I would very much like, because I'm about to start something that's called City State.
Okay.
And City State is, think City Skyline or SimCity, but with a political element, like a heavy political element to it. So
Okay.
you will make rules about everything, about taxation, about immigration, about workers' rules, about healthcare. Pretty much everything our government is dealing with right now, gun control, anything that our government is dealing with right now, you will deal with. And you will make decisions about what should be done. And every decision you make either upsets people or makes them
Yeah.
happy or something in the middle. And it's not all people. Like, for example,
Do you have to appease the sheep too?
oh yeah, you have to appease everybody. For
The
example,
dogs?
healthcare. No, healthcare, because there's no sheep. It's modern. But healthcare, for example,
Sheep are
say that you
modern.
decide that that everyone should have single payer healthcare paid for by the government. Well, the lower class, the local, the poor people and low class people will be thrilled. Middle class will be mostly happy. The upper class people will be uh, uh, not
Angry?
so great. They're not angry, but they're not happy. It takes points away from their happiness, and then you have to kind of appease them with other things that make them
Well,
happy and
we
offset.
all know that they're the ones you have to appease the most.
Right. And not always. And you can have demonstrations. There can be demonstrations and riots that run through the city. Just like in Anno 1800, you can have riots and it fucks up your city. You can have riots and demonstrations and terrorism and all of that stuff. So it's city state is more it's city skyline and a city builder, but it's adding more of more of the politics of the world into it, which is exactly the kind of stuff I love. Exactly. I'm trying to pull it up right now. And it is yet another one of those games that I found via Gray Still Plays. So it's like a tycoon city builder, because of course you're supposed to be making money. So yeah, and I'll be probably playing it this week. Here's an example of City State. And you can see it looks very much like a regular city builder, but you get occasional messages from the populace that says, "Hey, you have to make a decision on this particular." Uh, let's see if I can find one where it's actually asking you to make a decision on a particular social or economic decision. I'm really surprised I'm not seeing one. Huh.
I think you've been making this whole game up.
Yeah, and if I did, I would totally build this game. So you could see that it becomes fairly quickly. You can get this thing. It's not like Anno 1800 where everything is all kind of industrial revolution. It is.
Yeah, it's modern times.
Yeah, so that's just prospecting for oil. But anyway, yeah. So that is my next game is going to be City State.
Okay. What have I been playing? Still more Death Stranding. I'm just slowly making my way through that. I'm just still enjoying putting up my little zip line road through the mountains, maintaining it with new supplies. Like, okay, this zip line station is like in the middle of a perpetual blizzard of timefall, which is like acid rain essentially. So, I gotta drop off supplies there every now and then to repair it because it's slowly disintegrating. But yeah, I'm just slowly making my way through that game. Still really enjoying it. Like, I'm getting to the point. There's this huge middle section. Like in the beginning, you start off on the East Coast, and the progression is kind of linear. It's like go to this place, go to this place, go to this place, and they're each just a little farther away from your base. And then you do like a big story mission, and you sort of hop on a boat and cross this big crater lake in sort of the middle right of the nation. And so you cross this big crater lake, and then you kind of find yourself in Middle America, and that's where majority of the game takes place. And so now that I've essentially crossed the Rockies now. That's the mountains at the edge of California, right? Rocky Mountains. Yeah, I've essentially crossed those. And
the Rockies are Colorado. That would be the Sierras in California.
Okay, yeah, probably Sierras. It's the look, distance and geography are compressed in a way. So one mountain.
The Siracis.
Yeah, the Siracis. Basically, that big old mountain range, that separates the West Coast from Middle America. Whatever you want to call it, I've crossed those. And so now I know that I'm kind of getting into the end game of this big middle section. I'm not quite sure what comes next. I heard that that it becomes a lot more linear as it gets into the end game. But it's, I have turned this huge section of America into a navigable area. I've got roads, I've got zip lines, and there's something genuinely satisfying and really compelling about that. Of just, like I said before, fighting tooth and nail to cross a location and then just setting up some zip lines and being like, later, suckers. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I have started a fantasy league, but it's not any sports fantasy league. It is a fantasy movie league. Is the new game that I've been playing, and I saw this advertised
movie league.
I saw this advertised in a theater before I went to see a movie, and I was like, that looks like fun. And basically, you kind of have your own fictional movie theater, and you've got 8 screens that you need to fill with popular movies. So you've got 8 screens to fill. You have 1,000 movie bucks that you can spend to fill it, and all of the movies available to you. And you can only do like the top 10 movies, or the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. The top 15 movies for the week, or the top 15 movies for next week, because that's kind of what you're always planning, are only available to you. So you can't choose like real tiny indie stuff. But basically, you have this list of upcoming movies, and they cost according to their popularity. So like, this upcoming week, this upcoming Friday, Birds of Prey is coming out, and that's supposed to be really popular. So it costs like $666 of my 1,000 movie dollars to put it on in my theater. And so it's just like any fantasy league game, it's all numbers. It's like, what does it cost me to pick this movie, and what is the projected return that I'll have for the next week? And so you just kind of go through each week and like pick, I think this movie, I want this movie. And yeah, you just kind of create a little fictional theater and fill out all 8 screens with what movies you think will do the best, and try to maximize your return. And has someone who is a movie nerd and who just naturally kind of follows the ups and downs of box office stuff for fun, like each Friday I'm already like reading what is this movie projected to do, just out of fun. So this is just kind of a natural extension of that, of just trying to guess what's going to be popular and what's not.
What is Fantasy Movie League played on?
It's on my phone.
Oh, it's a phone game. Okay.
Yeah, it was free to download on the App Store. I'm sure there's a way to pay for something, but I honestly can't see it.
So it says league, so I'm assuming that you are competing against other people who are also created a movie theater with.
You are competing. You can join a league. I don't really know what that means. I haven't joined a league. I just started building a theater. I think you're automatically entered into like the general league, or like a weekly prize league where, hey, if you lock in your choices before Friday, you're entered into like a pool to win a poster or something.
And I'm
but-
assuming that the results are based on the actual movie.
Oh yeah,
what
there's
happens with the real movie in theaters?
Yeah, and so there's like you get bonuses for like if you picked the biggest movie of that week, you get a $2 million bonus on your end result. Or if you pick the number of movies that is statistically the perfect pick, because you can tell that, right? Of like, you have 8 movies, you have 8 screens, you have these movies, and this is what they made in the week. You can calculate like what the perfect return is for that. And so at the end of like last week, it had a list that was like, here are your choices, here were the most popular choices, and here's the perfect choices.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I guess you are competing with people, but it's like, I'm not really competing with them, because it's not like you can, when you look at like the top 10 people that won each week, they all have the same choices, and so they'll all technically have the same, thing. It's all a tie, and there's like a tiebreaker system where you choose like how exactly much money do you think this new release will make, and depending on how close you are, that's what breaks the tie. But I'm just doing it for fun. I'm not really competing with anyone. I'm just trying to see how well I can predict it. Last week I was way off. I thought the rhythm section would do well. It bombed. Goddamn rhythm section. Yeah, you hurt me.
No, I just got a great idea for a new game after getting off the phone. It's called Cardiologist. Okay. So the cardiologist game is you try to make an appointment with a cardiologist because you discovered something wrong with your heart, right?
Oh, I thought this was like Surgeon Simulator.
So the cardiologist says, well, we have an appointment in 4 months from now, right? Okay, that's great. So it's only a heart problem. I can't understand why I'd want to wait 4 months for a heart, right? So, well, I'll tell you what, could you look at the documentation on my file to let me know if I can wait 4 months? Well, what you need to do in this cardiologist game is go back to your primary care, who's not a heart expert, to look at your chart to see if you can wait 4 months or if you're going to die before you have the appointment, right? Then if the cardiologist, the primary care physician determines that you do need to be seen sooner than 4 months, then you need to call back the cardiologist, right? And yeah, that's kind of how it works. So that's what I have to do now. I have to book an appointment out 4 months from now, call my primary to see if that's okay, even though I was referred to the cardiologist because they're the heart specialists, but no sense them looking into my files to see if my heart condition is serious enough to be seen in 4 months or if I'm going to die before then. So I told Lay, make my appointment for May. If I die before them, feel free to cancel the appointment and give it to somebody else. So that's where we stand right now. That is the cardiologist game.
That sounds like fun.
Sounds like a fun game.
Yeah, I'd play that.
DLC. I wonder if you can get the casket DLC. If I could dress up my casket, with cool designs. Unbelievable.
I want flames on the side.
So don't bring your car to the mechanic to have him look at it. Just go up the street and ask Bob. Bob will tell you if you need to bring the car to the mechanic.
Bob will tell you if you need new brakes.
Holy cow. How about the
Yeah,
cardiologist? Look at my heart condition to determine if I can wait 4 months. That would make more sense. Nope, that's not how we do it here. Okay, no problem.
The cardiologist is a busy guy.
So you know what I told her? I told her this. I says, well, make it for May. If I die before then because of a heart condition, just cancel my appointment. Hang on, sir. Hang on. She comes back. She goes, oh, we have an appointment next Tuesday. Is that okay? So, yeah. Didn't want to get all dramatic, but come on.
No, it's all right. Understandable. So, how are you other than that? What have you been playing?
Me, I've been on Steam a lot playing some games. I did playing this jigsaw puzzle game. That's like my go-to game right now. It's called Traditional Jigsaws. That's what it's called. Traditional Jigsaws on Steam. And you just use your mouse and you put together a jigsaw puzzle and you click the mouse to spin the piece and try to put it on the board and it's just putting together a puzzle, and you get different packs that you can buy. Some are free, some are a couple of bucks, some are $10 depending on the pack. The more money, the more puzzles are in there, and the puzzles go anywhere from like 96 pieces to 600 pieces, I think. And that's what it is. That's the game. Is you just take the pieces and put them on the board and spin them around and try to get them in place. In fact, yeah, this is the old lady. Yeah, the old lady by the painting. I've done this one. It is relaxing. It tires your mind out so you can sleep at night.
Whistler's mother.
I don't know who this is, but I did this puzzle. Yep.
Whistler's mother.
Traditional jigsaws. Yep. And I've done some good ones. I got the fast food pack, so I put together a really nice hot dog. You know. I put together some, I think I put together some pizza and some French fries and some hamburgers. And it is, I kick back with my feet up here and just use the mouse and put these things together. And some are difficult. Some of them, there was a puzzle I did that was a girl on a horse dressed in red in a red forest with red trees. And it was so much red. I was like, man, I'll never get this. There's just too much red. I'll be here all day plugging in pieces. And I ended up finishing it. It was fun. So yeah, so this is so real. I back in December when I discovered this game, I actually streamed it. I streamed doing this puzzle game, and I had a lot of people watching me on that Friday night. And they're like, "Why the hell am I watching you put together a puzzle?" I was like, "I don't know. Yeah, you guys are watching me." But it is fun. The game is free. It comes with a couple of free puzzles. Every now and then they have a flash puzzle that they release for free. But they sell the packs. They're really not that expensive. I picked up a handful of them. Yeah, those DL Softworks. Yep. Pixel puzzles, traditional jigsaws. And it's just putting together a puzzle. And they have cats, they have dogs, they have travel, landscapes, you name it. They have all different kind of different themes.
AC right wants to know if you didn't do a hentai.
What's a hentai?
Nick, you explain. I'm not touching that.
It's porn.
Oh.
It's anime porn.
No, that's the one thing I wish you could do in this game is you could import your own photos and have it do a jigsaw for you. That would be kind of neat. I imagine on the iPad they have something like that, so you could take a picture of your dog or whatever and put together a puzzle. No, these are all pre-made puzzles that you have to select from, and they do get difficult. They get difficult. So
Donnie Eddington says, I just started up my fantasy movie league and my group on the game no longer exists, but he says he's been playing it since last year.
Yeah, it seems cool.
Yeah.
It did look kind of cool.
Yeah, it's the kind of fun thing to open up once a week and check, like, how am I doing?
Yeah. So yeah, traditional jigsaw. That sounds like a very relaxing way to
it is when you're not feeling good, but you're like, like sometimes you're tired, but your mind is not tired.
So if you want to find your puzzle porn, it is apparently on Steam.
Oh, I'm sure.
No, just no. Maybe. It was like those Oreos I saw the other day. I was at the grocery store.
Oh, maximum stuffed Oreos?
I thought the maximum stuffed Oreos were a joke. I thought somebody photoshopped that was playing a joke because you saw pictures of it, and I was like, okay, that's a joke. There's no way they make an Oreo with that much cream filling. Okay, it looked like an ice cream. It looked like an ice cream sandwich. And I'm going to the checkout line, and there they are, right at the checkout line, and I was just like, no, maybe. I didn't buy them though, because I would probably eat one, and I would go into a sugar fit, if I having one of those. So I did not. Yep. I did not get them.
Why it's showing that? Oh, it's because it opened it up in a different thing.
That's too much stuffing. That is just too. I mean, I used to like the double stuffs back in the day because it gave you, the regular Oreos, there was no stuffing in there. It was just all cookie. So the double stuff gave you some decent amount.
I never liked
the most stuff. That is just too much. Too much.
I don't know. I really, really.
I heard they're awesome. But they're too much. They're like two double stuffs.
I mean, look at that picture. Look at this picture right here. This is.
Am I the only one that doesn't prefer the stuffing? I actually like the cookies that are thin because they have even less stuffing because it's mainly just the chocolate wafer.
Those
are the best ones.
Yeah, I don't know you.
Oh no, the Oreo thins.
You're
are the
not
best.
right in the head. The stuffing is
this-
the best.
That's way too much stuffing. That is a god awful amount
If
of
I
stuffing.
had my choice, I would take, and I have been known to do this, is to lick the stuffing out of the inside, put the cookie back, and throw it away.
That's hardcore.
What the fuck?
Okay, boomer.
Oh my god.
Not a boomer. Not a boomer.
What are we? I don't even know what I am.
We're Gen X.
Am I an X? I'm an Xer.
You're an X.
Oh man. Am I
Andrew Smith says I'm the monster, but that is like cruel to the laws of God and everything that is good.
Andrew Smith
God,
is right there with
lick
me.
the stuffing and throw
stuffing
away
of
the cookie.
The stuffing
the
of the Oreo is
fuck?
the tits.
No, it's not.
The
It's
proverbial
not.
tits.
It's not.
Oh yeah, that's the best part.
You know what? Is even better than I don't like the taste of Oreos anymore. And I was a huge Oreo. Do you know what is better? Do you know what? Once I started eating these and everyone back to Oreos, Trader Joe, JoJo's.
I don't like JoJo's.
The JoJo's
I don't know those.
Oreos, but a little less sweet and manageable. The JoJo's the tits. Limited edition. One resellable pack. Oh, on Amazon selling them.
Oh, that's freaking dangerous. To get them delivered by Amazon.
They were at the store. I
Weird
had one
Al
in
is
the-
on Team Edie. Yep, the white stuff. Absolutely.
Team stuff.
Yep,
Nick's team cookie.
no.
I'm
The
in the
white
middle.
stuff.
I'm in the middle.
I'm
Nope.
Team Cookie.
But I'm also
all the
the
way.
kind of person who loves Thin Mints.
Yeah, Thin Mints are good.
The Girl Scout cookie Thin Mints. But I get the
Yeah.
Thin Mints and I suck all the chocolate off and then throw away the cookie.
What the fuck? Do you not know how to eat cookies?
She does a lot of sucking. You know, she
know,
sucks
I
the
like
cream
what
out of
I like.
everything.
I
She sucks the cream out of everything.
Sucking and licking. Sucking and licking. That's our
Ah.
Well, I told you how I eat a ho-ho, that you eat all the chocolate off, unroll it, and then lick all of the filling off. Then you eat the chocolate cake.
You know,
But that's optional.
it almost sounded dirty, but then it didn't. It didn't.
It's not. It's not
No,
dirty.
Why?
It's the way to
Wait,
eat
why
stuff.
even? Why even eat a Thin Mint at that point? If you're not eating the cookie part, that's where the mint part is. At that point,
No,
you're
the-
just sucking chocolate.
No, the mint part is also on the chocolate.
Do you eat a
No,
banana?
they put mint
Why not
all
just
the way
have
through
a
the things.
fucking chocolate mint?
Do you eat a
Why
banana?
bother buying the cookie?
Wait. Do you eat a banana like you're playing a harmonica? Like a corner of the cob, but you just eat the banana. Come on, what is going on here?
No, she eats the peel and throws away the banana.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. I always eat the stuff in the middle.
She
Except
doesn't even
with
crack the
Girl
banana.
Scouts.
She opens up a little bit and just sucks all the banana out.
Right,
through
I
the
suck the
peel.
banana. And then throw away the rest.
They made a thing for oranges one time where you put this little plug in an orange and then you beat the crap out of the orange and you could drink it right out of there because it crushed it.
Uh-huh.
Huh,
Very similar. Yeah.
weird.
That is disgusting. That's just gross.
It's just straight orange juice right from the orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
So anything else that we played? Okay.
Anything else?
Andrew Smith was right there with me until we started talking about the Thin Mints, and then it just went off the rails. He says, "Okay, Edie, that's weird.
You suck on your food. You just
I like what I like, and I don't see any reason to consume the stuff that I don't.
just
I'm
French
a grown
fries.
ass woman. I could do whatever I
You
want.
suck the soft stuff out of French fries too, or do you eat the
No,
fry?
I eat the whole fry.
Uh,
You dip it in the chocolate malt first. Love French fries dipped in chocolate malt.
we need to do a food show.
No, we don't. No, we don't. All right. And then AC Wraith, of course, listed Weird Al Yankovic's The White Stuff. So,
Good.
anything else before we hit the news?
No, it's a good show. Good show, you guys.
We're not done yet.
What are you not that we talked food? Oh, weather. We haven't talked weather.
Well, we can talk about weather in the news. So let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with gamer Edie, Holy Goalie, and Nick D. Nicola. And our first item is
Did we talk about Oreos yet?
Yes, we did.
Okay. That was my news item.
All right. Let's see. Nick, do you have any items, or are you just gonna put this all on Edie's shoulders?
No, I've got some.
All
Most interesting, the PlayStation 5 website got
Yes,
launched,
it is up
and so
and
people
going.
are expecting a announcement very soon.
Yeah.
Any day now, they should have some sort of something.
Yeah, yeah. In
Get more
fact,
details.
there's so much speculation going on right now about the PS5. Um,
Wouldn't it be great? On that page, there's like a sign up for our newsletter thing.
right.
Wouldn't it be great if the whole announcement and reveal was just done through an email sent out through a newsletter?
That would be
No,
kinda
no
cool.
news story, no big press conference, just a newsletter in your email. Here's our new console and all the information.
Yep. And it is kind of notable that they've launched this website, but they still haven't launched a price on what the PS5 is going to be.
Well, I mean,
Um,
neither is Microsoft. Like that's usually the last thing that we get.
Right. Well, they usually announce the price at E3.
Yeah,
Which makes
yeah.
sense that they would do that around that time. But well, first off, there's so much speculation going on right now surrounding the PS5. Another thing that was quote unquote leaked, which may or may not be true. The PS5 leaker, who does have a fairly good track record for figuring things out early, says that they're going to start asking for pre-orders for the console in March. I think that's not reasonable because they can't ask for pre-orders until they launch the price. I don't think they're going to reveal the price until E3. And here's why. I don't think they have a price yet. Because remember that little thing going on in China right now, the coronavirus?
Mhm.
It is very, very, very close to crashing most world markets, certainly ones that rely upon China.
This
and
thing is
any
no
kind of
joke, by the way.
electronic- Yeah.
This is no
Oh yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
I've
and
been
not only-
following this, and it's just amazing. I mean, you see the reports from Wuhan and people that are trapped in there, and this is no joke.
Yeah, no, it is no joke. And it's mostly what it has done. It's killed a lot of people, and a lot of people have it, but a lot of people are also saying it's not nearly as bad as a global thing as the regular flu. But even so, the fact that it has essentially shut down China. Well, China was already at the Chinese New Year, which shuts down China for a month. But everybody knows that's happening. But the fact that it happened during the Chinese New Year break, and that it extended the Chinese New Year break, means that a bunch of companies that rely upon Chinese parts are now without any parts. Like they had enough to get them through Chinese New Year, and then they were going to get some more at when China opened back up for business, because Chinese New Year, China shuts the fuck down. Nothing, literally nothing happens. Nothing gets made, nothing gets shipped, nothing gets sold for a month. And now that month time that they are used to having, they essentially, car manufacturers, electronics manufacturers, they buy enough stock in order to get them through Chinese New Year because they know they're not going to be able to get anything during Chinese New Year. The coronavirus shut down China and extended the Chinese New Year break by 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So all of that stock is now, they've already used it all up, and they're not getting any more. And they still have to have ramp up time to get these industries back online, shipping stuff out. So, I mean, I heard it yesterday on Marketplace that Kia is no longer producing cars right now. And that's the first car maker, because they have no parts, because they're not coming out of China because of the coronavirus. And you're going to see ripples of this going through the entire world economy because everybody relies upon China for manufacturing. But the one that's really going to get hit, electronics, because only 15% of a car in the United States is made in China. But 50% of a television made in the United States is done in China, if not more. So this coronavirus, I suspect that it is playing havoc with the games consoles companies, Microsoft and Sony, trying to figure out how much it's actually going to cost to make these things, because the country that they're going to be manufacturing through and is making the parts and doing all the prototyping, doing all this, it's shut down and nobody's doing any work. They've locked the doors and everybody is on quarantine, and they don't know when it's going to end. That's the thing. This could all get cured up in a week or two. This could be growing and become a global pandemic over the next month. And if that happens, you can kiss the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X coming out in November if this continues to shut down China for the next month, which is entirely possible. It could. And nobody's really talking about it because it hasn't really happened. But people in manufacturing know that this is happening, and they see that the car going off the cliff, but nobody in the back is recognizing that the car is heading for a cliff and that we're going to have kind of a global manufacturing shutdown.
Don't look now. We're about to be killed.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like being stuck in the trunk of Thelma and Louise's Thunderbird. All you know is it's just a little rocky. You didn't realize it was because you were literally launching off a cliff. So, and this is just me talking. I have not heard anyone talking about the coronavirus and how it's possibly affecting the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One X or Series X, Xbox One Series X. But it's affecting it. And it, depending on how this thing resolves, it's gonna affect it. No question. There you go. There's AC Wraith. Kia suspends some production lines amidst coronavirus trigger crunch. Yep. They got no parts, nothing to put the cars together with. The price for PS4 is law of surprise, according to Tony Eddington.
No, that would be like if I went to Sony and if I said like, "Oh, you haven't seen that in The Witcher." Never mind, I can't make a joke.
No, you can't make a Witcher
It's
joke.
it's from The
hate
Witcher.
that show. I think it's terrible. It's awful.
You've not seen truly bad shows.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, prior, there is these leaks that are coming out that said that the pre-orders are going to be available in March, and the original release date, that it's going to, the PS5 is going to drop on November 20th, 2020 for a price of $499. I think as long as this coronavirus thing is happening, we have no idea what the price is going to be.
Yeah, 500.
And we have no idea what the drop date is.
It can't be higher than 500. Like
it would be foolish to make it more than 500.
All manufacturing concerns aside, I think like with the PS3 and at least with the comparison between PS4 and Xbox One when they launched, like people generally aren't willing to pay more than $500 for a console. I'm expecting it to be 500. That seems like a reasonable amount for what they're offering, but like more than that is like, I'll stick with what I got for a year.
Well, Sony's already learned that lesson with the PlayStation 3.
Well, I like my PlayStation. Don't give them too much credit now.
Well, no, they learned that lesson when they launched the PS3 and the Xbox was inexpensive, and the PS3 they launched the price. What was it? $600.
It was $600. It was $600.
People looked at it and said, "What the fuck?" and immediately bought an Xbox.
But that was so long ago. I don't count that as like lessons learned anymore. It's all in the past. Who knows what happened? Don't think about it. It's all in the past. It's not relevant to today.
Well,
Anything that happened 10 years ago, I do not trust
what
any.
happened. What happened 10 years ago is that Sony didn't think that it was competing with Xbox,
Actually,
and
it's
they
more than
learned
10
very
years
quickly
ago.
that they are competing with Xbox because everyone
more than 10
ran
years ago.
screaming from the PlayStation 3.
I'm just saying. I think
now they
if
know
you,
that.
by just saying lessons that they've learned the lessons, I think it's giving their CEO and their marketing department and them as a business too much credit.
I don't think so. I think I think that they're absolutely aware that they compete head to head.
Yes, but I also think that I guarantee you there is a discussion happened in some meeting room where some guy was like, "Hey, people love the PS4. We could charge them $600 for this PS5." And someone was like, "Motherfucker, no, you remember what happened?" And he's like, "Yeah, but that was PS2. PS4 sold even more than a PS2. It's even more popular. We have a better position now." And guys like, "No, we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. Yes, we do."
Yeah,
I
but they also
guarantee you
know
that
that the
discussion has
only
happened.
reason why the PS4 is as popular as what it is because everybody left Xbox 360.
Yeah, but that wasn't just because of the price.
And they've only no, but it was because of a better product.
Yeah,
but if
that
there
wasn't
if
just
there
because
had
of the
been
price.
a price difference, we wouldn't have left the 360. They know now that price is king. They know it. And $100 difference.
I don't know.
A
That's giving
$100
way too
difference
much credit.
would make us go back. Absolutely would make us go back.
It's giving them way too much credit.
I think they're smart enough.
I
now.
hope it'll be. I think it'll be 500. I think the odds are in that, but there is a non-0% chance that it will be higher.
Yeah, I think that $499 is probably what it's going to be. So
Donnie said the video froze on him.
Yeah, but he's it's still going. It's
Okay,
fine. I think
okay,
it's
well,
just
good.
Donnie, hopefully.
Okay.
Goalie. Will
Yep.
you buy another console when they come out in November? Are you going to be first adopter like you have been in every console release?
Right now, if I had to guess, I'd say no, because I'm just not playing a lot of video games right now. I'm in a funk between I'm playing a lot of Steam games and I'm playing some tabletop games. So that's where I am right now. Come November, I don't know. I did say in the past that if either system, whether it's the PlayStation or the Xbox, if either system announces some huge backwards compatible news, that's the way I'm gonna go. Okay.
They've already said that both of them are going to be backwards compatible.
It depends what it is, because if Xbox comes out and says, and again, that's pie in the sky, but if Xbox were to say you can put in any disc, any of these discs behind me over here, from 1 to the 360 to the original Xbox, and they will work, then I would be more inclined to buy the new Xbox. If PlayStation said the same thing, you can put in a PS1, a PS2, PS3, PS4 disc, and they'll work, then I'd be inclined to go with that one. I don't think that will be the case because I know they're all different coding in the whole bit, but who knows? Who knows what would happen if they'd all be compatible or if most would be compatible. So for me, I'm looking to be able to sit on my couch and play some of the older games because that's what I enjoy. And I can do more of that with the Xbox right now than the PlayStation. But as far as going forth with new games, if I'm buying a new console just for new games, then I'm in no particular rush. Just me.
Yeah.
Just no particular
was
rush.
it PlayStation? No, it was Xbox that said not only are games going to be backwards compatible to the Xbox One games, but Xbox next generation games are going to be backwards console compatible, meaning that if you own an Xbox One that you have in your house now and you buy one of the next gen games, you will be able to play it on your old console.
At least the
Discs
Xbox
will be backwards compatible.
first party games.
First party games, right?
Yeah, but you wonder how they're gonna be because if they're designed for a new system with all the
Right.
hoopla stuff, they're gonna look like ass. You know,
They're gonna look bad.
So for
But
me,
you can do it.
For me, that that would be the selling point for me was, can I sit and pop in? Because I got a ton of old games I just don't get to play all that much because I would have to play on the tiny screen behind me, and I'm not hooked up to the big screen anymore. So if I could, if I had all-in-one system, I guess that's what I would call it, the all-in-one system, I would be more apt to buy that. But if they're saying you could just play the last generation, I already have last generation. That does nothing for me. And unless they come out with some unbelievable game that I want to spend $500 on, I'm not in any big hurry. just games are passing me by as I get into my mid 50s. I hate to say it. A lot of these games I just can't play anymore. I don't have the dexterity to play some of these games. So if I have to jump or swing a sword or something, I don't have that dexterity anymore. I don't play online hardly anymore. I'm not that good. So my gaming is it's shrinking. It's getting smaller to what I enjoy, to what I can compete with, to a point I'm playing jigsaw puzzle games right now. So
You
I
have
don't.
gotten pretty old pretty
I
fast.
have gotten old.
To be fair, I have an app on my phone. It's basically just a jigsaw puzzle game where it's bonsai pictures, something like that. Bonsai jigsaw, and it is a jigsaw puzzle game from Bonsai, which like make these crossword puzzle games, and I bought that at least a couple years ago, and it's just a perennial game on my phone that I've never deleted because it's really fun. It's like jigsaw puzzles are fun.
I get into the point and click
Every
games on Steam. I enjoy them, and I'm into the more casual stuff. I'm in the games that I can
Yeah.
start and I can get up and go make a sandwich and come back a couple hours later and pick right up and not have to worry about anything, you know. And I know you can pause some games. You can pause Skyrim if you want. I get that, but for me, I'm into the single player stuff, and I'm into the you know, that what game you were playing. Boy, I would be lost with that. I don't need anything more complex. I'm not a VR guy. So that's why I would want it backwards compatible, because I would rather play all these games behind me than anything new right now. I get more enjoyment. They were simple. Some of them were just 2-button games. I can handle 2-button games. So
Yeah.
at the same time, you know, I've been playing video games since 1977. For crying out loud, I've had a good run with video games. It's not like, you know, I just started. I've been doing this. How many years now? 40 years? Been playing video games, 43 years. I was 10 years old when I got my first console. So I've had 43 years of gaming. My heyday was the 360. We all played together on the 360. I had so many friends in the 360. Left 4 Dead, so many games of that. Call of Duty, Zombies. That was the heyday. And once we switched to PS4, my community gaming went down the toilet. It just did. There wasn't anything there that we all wanted to play together. Even some of my friends, whatever, even my Xbox friends, when I go on the Xbox, I'm not playing anything social anymore. And I don't know why that is, but the 360 was the sweet spot. It was unbelievable. And then once the new consoles come out, everything kind of changed. It just did. It was supposed to be better. It just wasn't. I mean,
well, they definitely had a different community. I do think that the Xbox headset, that wireless one that you just stuck in your ear, that was really, really good because it was wireless and because it hung on your ear so effortlessly. It was very easy to just kind of be like, I'll join a party and just take this and put it on. Whereas the headset that came with the PlayStation is a cord that plugs into the controller, which is just kind of a hassle. And I think that had something to do with it. But yeah, I mean, communities change.
I mean, how much Rock Band I played and Guitar Hero I played on the 360
yeah, that's just
was nuts. And then they get rid of that on the new system. I mean, it's still there, kind of, but I mean, my heyday was, I mean,
Not
every night I pulled out my plastic bass and played Red Bar Cheddar before I went to bed. I mean, that was my thing. Hook up the Rock Band, put on the headphones, play some Red Bar Cheddar.
By the way, I told you that Kevin has picked up Rocksmith and is learning to play the bass on Rocksmith, right?
Really?
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, if they had something like that would, you know, get you back in the plane, maybe just where games are going. It's not where I'm going. I'm not the target demographic.
I like.
It's not.
There are video games that are exactly what you're looking for. They're just not the big budget games that Sony is putting out and Microsoft is putting out, but they're still there.
That Death Stranding is interesting to me because that doesn't sound like it's a very complex game to play.
It's not like there's a lot going on, and it certainly seems really complicated. That it really is a walking simulator in that, you know, if you stack too much on your back and you walk and you try to turn, you'll lean to one side and you have to like hold the button to like shift it back. But for all the things that are in the game that are like, oh, you could put armor on if you encounter terrorists. You go into the rain and it's cold, and so you've got to have container repair spray to repair stuff, and you've got to do all this stuff. Like, at the end of the day, at least what I found is a lot of that is fairly easy to manage, and so it's mainly just walk from point A to point B and chill out. Well, except when you encounter the ghost, then it's like, oh fuck me, fuck ghosts. Gotta just crouch and slow walk through this whole area. But yeah,
I'm just enjoying the casual games, and I sit here like this, lean back
there's
in my
there's
chair.
a ton of them.
Yeah,
That's
and I
what's
play
great.
the
There's
Steam
a
games.
ton
Yep.
of casual games.
I'm back into the Steam. The last time, remember, I really, really nailed my Steam backlog. I played a lot of games. Some games I played for 5 minutes and was like, yeah, this ain't for me. And other games I finished, and I was pretty proud of myself that I really attacked that backlog back in December, Christmas time, when I had some time off. And I found a lot of games that I liked. I had a lot of games to the wish list. I almost got that Spin Tires game. I didn't though. That's the
I've
one
heard of that.
the Russian truck driving through the woods and the mud, and it's supposed to be super realistic, and you're just driving trucks. It looked pretty casual. I didn't get that one though, but it looked that's where I'm going. I like some of my racing
You want
games.
a American Truck Simulator?
I think I have that. I got Euro Truck Simulator right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have that one. But I play some racing games and just put everything on easy, and I enjoy that. I think I did pick up Left 4 Dead on Steam, so I could actually stream it here on Steam and on whatever, and have some fun with it. So that's some of the stuff I'm doing. I'm really looking into a lot of the single player board games, the tabletop games. Those have been really kind of fun, and I'm finding some of those play on Steam too. There's Steam versions of them, so it's like that's kind of neat.
It's funny, like you were talking about in the chat too. They're talking about how they've all shifted to PC games, and I found after my old computer died, and I realized that there was like a thick, sticky layer of dirt on the video card, and I'm like, okay, even if I got a new hard drive, this probably doesn't have much of a life left in it.
Yeah.
And I got a new computer that like is not meant for gaming at all. I got it for internet and Word docs. I've become more of a console gamer, which is great because pretty much everything that comes out on PC does come out on console. Kentucky Route Zero just came out on consoles. Frostpunk came out on consoles. So I'm fine with all that. But also, I know at one point Donnie was talking about how he doesn't play online because people just cuss and use racist slurs. Just don't have a headset.
Yeah.
You saw in last week in my gaming breakdown of 2018, Battlefield 5 was one of the top 3 games I played most. Almost never had a headset in that game, and it's great.
I only really get on
It's
a headset
great.
in that game if I hear people talking with each other and they seem fun. Then I will
See,
absolutely.
I don't even
get on
know
a
how you
headset.
do that. I can't even hear people.
Most times I don't, but if you're if you happen to be randomly put into a team where people are talking, I will stick
Maybe that
in a
just never
headset
happened to
and
me.
listen to them for a while, and then eventually like actually say something.
There ain't nothing wrong with playing a multiplayer game and not saying shit.
Nope. Certainly not on PlayStation. On the 360, social was almost required.
Yeah. Well,
but
I think
on PlayStation, it's always had a reputation of being an unsocial.
I wonder if that was just because it was new. Like, the 360, that whole online play, the fact that it came with a headset, that was all relatively new.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you could play online was relatively new. And I wonder if just like, how the internet started so innocent and naive and grew into the toxic shithole it is now. If gaming, online gaming in general, on consoles started out nice and innocent with the 360, and then as we switch generations, it just grew up into the naturally toxic shithole that all internet things eventually evolve into.
I would normally agree with you, except you go on Xbox One today, and there are certainly a lot more people talking. A lot more people that should just not talk, but there are a lot more people talking, I notice.
So I wonder if that's just like maybe as a community, Xbox players are more social than PlayStation players.
Yes, I will absolutely agree with you there.
Interesting.
So next item is
Oh yeah, we're
let's
talking about news.
see. Yeah, we are into news.
I have a couple.
Okay, give me one.
Dan Houser is leaving
Yes.
Rockstar.
Yes. And he's not the only one who just left. What's his bucket? From that left Ubisoft after less than a year. He was one of the Dragon Age creators. And he was pulled away to Ubisoft Montreal, and then he left Ubisoft Montreal. There's a bunch of
I
very
don't know.
big names that left in the last week, and I'm wondering if that's coincidence or not. I'm
I mean,
sure it's a coincidence.
Yeah, or it also could be, people looking at the next generation and being like, you know what? I just don't want to go through this again.
Right.
I'm getting out now while the getting's good.
But I would like to think that they're all getting together and making their own studio. There's a part of me that kind of wishes, because it's a small group. They all kind of know each other. There's a part of me that wishes that they're just all going to get together and start a studio. And it's like the best of the
Yeah,
best.
but I don't know. No, but they're like all the upper level financial like CEO type guys. We need you want that?
No. These are like creators, game creators.
Oh yeah, I guess Dan Houser was one of the creative people.
And the guy that created the Dragon Age series, I can't remember the name off. It's not Neil Gaiman. It's somebody else.
Wasn't like Dave Guy something?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was DG.
Yes.
I keep thinking Dave Garner, but
that's
can't
not
be
Dave
it.
No. That guy's an asshole.
I just checked on Steam. My most played game on Steam is now that puzzle game. I have doubled all my hours. Endless Sky is free.
Yeah, AC Wraith just wrote in chat, Goalie, you have Endless Sky wishlisted. You know it's free, as in beer, right? Just play it.
Oh yeah, play now. Adventure Capitalist is play now. I got a lot of play now.
Oh, David Guider.
David Guider, that's it.
I didn't even know he was at Ubisoft.
No, I don't know if it was David Guider. Let me look it up.
Okay. Anyways, the Rockstar had a statement about him leaving, and it was mainly just, "Hey, we're thankful for his contributions. He built
Mike
great
Laidlaw.
games, and that's it."
Mike Laidlaw, the Dragon Age designer who joined Ubisoft Quebec as its creative director in 2018, is leaving the studio after a little more than a year there. So there's the designer. The fact that they both left in the last week, and there's been a number of big name people who have left their longtime companies or left companies they had eerily just signed up with. And it's wouldn't it be nice if they're all getting together and making one super company?
Is that right? Doogie Howser left Rockstar?
Yes, Dan Houser.
That sucks. I love that guy.
So yeah, I know. So yeah, it's an interesting development that he left. So we'll see. Let's see, what else have I got? Well, actually, more about Dan Houser. In a statement to IGN, Rockstar Games has said, quote, Dan Houser's role with Rockstar Games, which he founded in 1998, remains unchanged. Sam and the team remain focused on current and future projects. So Dan Houser started with the company in 1998. And he was one of the founders. And he's officially leaving on March 11th, 2020. So he was kind of very much his fingers in the pie on all of the GTAs and then Red Dead Redemption 1 and 2. So he's apparently going to be taking a quote unquote extended break. And he's actually already been on a break since spring of last year, but now it's actually official. I don't know if that means that he's actually moving on to something else now, or if he's just quitting making games entirely. He was credited as the writer on most of the Grand Theft Auto games from Grand Theft Auto 2 all the way up through 5, and was a head writer on Bully, Red Dead Redemption, Max Payne, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
he has said that GTA 6 is a challenge because of the business climate around GTA at the moment. He said, quote, "It's really unclear what we would even do with GTA 6, let alone how upset people would get with whatever we did."
Yeah.
Both intense liberal progression and intense conservatism are both very militant and very angry. Which is kind of an interesting thing that, he's looking at the political climate and saying, Grand Theft
I
Auto
mean, they
could
always
be
have been.
challenging
They
to
have been
make.
highly political.
Yep. And Grand Theft Auto is super challenging to make in this very polarized political environment where no matter what you do, somebody's going to be super pissed.
I don't know. I feel like that's the best time to make something like that, right?
Possibly. Depends.
I mean, if
Depends.
anything, they've always made, controversial games. Like they've always been like that person who's trying to start shit. That
Yes.
person who's
Well,
like trying
I
to.
don't know that they've necessarily been the ones that have tried to
not
start
trying to
shit, but
start
they've
shit, but they're-
certainly been the number one
They've-
target of
They've
politics.
liked being, controversial, and they've always leaned into that tag. If anything, now would be the best time to do it. And if anything, it kind of speaks to a inherent cowardice that, like, oh shit, now people might actually get really angry. We shouldn't do it. It's like, no, man, this is when I still remember. I seem to be one of the few people that beat GTA 5.
Mhm.
That game ended basically advocating for class warfare.
Right.
It literally ended with like at least the ending I got had the three guys teaming up to fuck over the FBI in a way that was like, yeah, let's stick it to the upper class and kill them, literally kill them all. And it was
Yeah.
like, holy shit.
Yeah, you couldn't do that now because
No, you
somebody might
could.
somebody might actually do it and then point at the game as being the reason why.
But now we have all the protections, so it's fine. This
Maybe
is
you still have to defend yourself. You still
so they're used to it. They've done it before.
I don't know. I don't think that
If they
anyone
were, yeah, that's the coward's
puts
way
out a
out.
game anticipating that there might be a mass shooting.
If you want to make like, political game, deeply political games, and you've leaned into that tag for the past 30 years that they've been making GTA games, like, and now's the time to lean into it even more. And the fact that he doesn't want to just speaks to like, now people might actually pay attention to me. I'm the kid throwing spitballs in the back of class, and oh shit, now that the principal's here instead of just a teacher, I'm gonna be good.
Yeah, but I think that at a certain point, the kid in the back of the class, when shit starts to get fucking real in the school, that he's like, you know what? Maybe it's not a good idea to throw spitballs in the back of the class. I mean, it was fun when it was just fun. Now it's serious shit. Kind of like my brother and I making a bomb in our backyard when we were kids. Back in the day, that bomb was totally fun, and the cops gave us a stern warning and laughed their asses off that we made a bomb in the backyard.
Mhm.
Nowadays, your kid makes a bomb in the backyard, it's a fucking big deal.
But there's a difference between that and a story that has the intention of,
the bomb
saying
hasn't
something
changed.
about society.
Right, but the bomb hasn't changed. The kid hasn't changed, but the society has changed around the bomb.
I feel
and
like
all
that,
of a sudden we would be labeled as terrorists
feel
and
like
our lives
that-
would be ruined.
I feel like that metaphor is kind of a straw man. I feel like that it's not the same. Creating a piece of controversial art that you're trying to say something about society that people might like is not the same as building a bomb.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on how it's laid out. And the thing is that they would have to, there's a lot to work with. And I think Grand Theft Auto could take a quote unquote responsible way to do it, or take the situation and make a compelling game that I don't want to say heals a community, but actually works with the political climate as opposed to against the political climate. But it could go either way. Anyway, so that got way deeper than I thought it would be. My next item is that EA has confirmed that Battlefield 6 is going to be for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. This is not a big surprise, but their next Battlefield is going to be specifically designed for the next consoles. It is supposed to come out in 2020 third quarter.
Yeah, because they did Battlefront 2, and then they didn't put out a game last year. So yeah,
I take that back. It launches in the 2022 fiscal year. Let's see, new Battlefield.
Wait, 2022.
Will come along. FIFA 22, Madden 22 is major launches in the 2022 fiscal year, according to reports.
So wait, they're saying Battlefield 5 is out. They're not going to make another Battlefield 6 for 2 years?
Well, no, it's not for 2 years because the fiscal quarter for 2022 can, I believe that starts
in 2021.
That would be April. Is that right?
But did they say where? What the theme is?
No, I haven't said anything about the theme yet. Planning to release the next installment of its first-person shooter, and I'm reading this from Game Rant. 2022 fiscal year, according to EA's chief operating officer and chief financial officer.
That's still a surprising long way away, considering that usually they alternated, like, Battlefield, Battlefront, Battlefield, another game.
All right.
And now, like, it'll be like a good 5 years then, since between 5 and 6.
Yeah, according to their remarks in an earnings call, they said this will follow the release of new content, quote unquote, across a broad range of genres that will invest in Sony's PlayStation 5 and Microsoft's Xbox Series X in the 2021 fiscal year, including 4 sports games, 4 games from older properties, 4 global release titles from smaller developers, and 2 new mobile games. He said that the success of many games, including Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Apex Legends, Plants vs. Zombies, Battle for Neighborville, and titles out of EA Sports, have positioned the company to continue growing and expanding into Asia. The other big takeaway from the call include the fact that Madden NFL 20 is the best performing game in the series' 30-year history, that live services are expected to be a primary growth driver in 2021, and that the company will have 4 esports franchises in the coming year.
Okay, so I guess they're holding back on it because they don't feel like they need to put it out.
Yeah, the 2022 fiscal year doesn't start until April. Yeah, April 2022. So they're going to be not releasing this. Jesus, really? So they're going to wait that doesn't make any sense.
What?
The 2022 fiscal year. The 2022 fiscal year would start in April 2022, if I'm correct. And if that's the case, the PlayStation and the Xbox Series X is going to be dropping this Christmas, which means they're going to wait a year after the release of a console to drop a Battlefield. And I totally agree with that sound effect. Because that means if they drop it November, if date-wise, they drop November, the console, November 2020. That means all of 2020 and 2021, all the way up into April 22, they will not have a Battlefield. And then 2022, they would. So that console will be a year old. Maybe they're waiting for adoption.
Yeah.
Maybe we could cut our shipping costs in half by switching to FedEx.
You suck.
I love all the hand gestures you were using.
This is how I talk. You know,
like wax on, wax off. We're gonna cut our shipping in half. I was like, man, you hit all the commercials. This is great.
You literally know this about me that I talk with my hands. So, and if you want to ever watch us on live as opposed to on Spreaker podcast, you can always see me talking with my hands on Facebook or YouTube under GameHounds Vids, VIDS. So yeah, that's actually more shocking than I thought it was going to be.
The
You got anything else, Nick?
the Shaka, is that what you're talking about?
No.
No.
Yeah.
They're different.
No, that will not happen here.
So Blizzard put out a update of Warcraft 3. Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Oh yeah, that did not go so
Um,
well. I don't know
and-
what's worse, that or the Iowa primaries or Iowa caucuses. I'm sorry.
Well, you can't get a refund on the caucus.
Wow. Yeah.
There's an app for
talk
that.
About, yeah.
No, there's not. You don't want it.
I
Don't
wish I
download
was
it.
an app developer because I would actually create an app and essentially having that would allow people to complain about the app that fucked up the Iowa caucuses.
Yeah, so from what I can understand, reading on Kotaku, the deal with Warcraft 3 Reforged is that when they were originally pitching it, they were pitching it as like a very big update. Like you know what they did with like Shadow of the Colossus going from PS2 to PS4. So, you know, a significant update in terms of visuals and everything. In one of the promo videos they showed, they had a cutscene with like dynamic camera angles. So, you know, Warcraft 3 is a strategy game, top-down view. But when they were watching this cutscene, one of the things this new version would do is actually zoom the camera in to have dynamic camera angles like Mass Effect, you know? Zoom in close, show someone from the waist up, get the camera in close and make it seem kind of like a movie. In the actual game, when that same cutscene plays, it's a top-down camera view that's maybe zoomed in a little bit closer, but it's still just people standing around talking. Not at all what they promised. And so that got a lot of people upset that the game in general is just a much lesser update than what they promoted. But also, it brings a lot of changes to gameplay. Not gameplay, but like back-end changes to multiplayer that creates a lot of bugs. And one of the things that happened is this update basically replaced Warcraft 3 original. You can switch between the two games, like on the fly, you know, like the Halo update, like the Monkey Island updates. But a lot of those back-end changes are permanent. And so what that means is if someone wanted to go and play original Warcraft 3, they couldn't, because the client that they would use to play that has basically been replaced with this new Warcraft 3 Reforged update, so that you can't go back and play that original game. And even if you try, you still get a lot of the same back-end bugs that Reforged has. And so that pissed a lot of people off, you know, rightfully so. And so Blizzard is basically offering refunds for it, like kind of instant refunds. And from what I can tell, this only lasted for 3 days. And so I don't know if it's still ongoing right now. But, you know, normally when you ask for a refund on their site, you got to go through a process. But it
Right.
seemed like for a while after the launch, if you asked for a refund, they just gave it to you without any hassle. So, yeah, Blizzard seem not on the highest of highs lately. They've
No.
been riding a rough train, have not done something that people really enjoy for a while.
Yeah. So, there is a sale right now that is PlayStation Network Critics Picks. It is very good. There's a number of games on sale right now. And just to give you an idea, it's called the Critics' Choice Sale. And a lot of games are this is actually, some of them are cheaper than from the Christmas and Black Friday sale. Borderlands 3 is $30. Well worth it if you have not picked it up. It's normally $50. Death Stranding is $36. Nick, worth it?
I think so.
Yeah. Far Cry 5 is 15, normally 60.
Well, maybe
That
I'll
was a
pick
fun
that
game.
up.
I
Yeah.
like Far Cry 5. I like that one.
Wait, 5. Oh, I'm thinking New Dawn.
Yeah, New
Never mind.
Dawn
That was a
Deluxe
new one.
Edition is 20, normally 50.
Okay.
FIFA 20 is 24, normally 60. GTA 5 Premium Edition is 15 versus what it's normally 30. Hitman 2 Gold Edition is normally $100, on sale for 30, which is a massive. I mean, I think that's the
I wonder
best
what's in that
deal.
gold edition.
I have no
$100 is a
idea.
lot.
$100 is a lot. Marvel Spider-Man's Game of the Year Edition, normally 40, now 20. Monster Hunter World, 15 instead of 30, and the Iceborne is 30 instead of 40. But if you want to buy the Master Edition, which is also the base game plus the Monster Hunter World, it's $40.19 versus 60. So that's a really good deal. Or if you want to buy them two separately, it's 45. Overwatch Legendary Edition is $19.79 versus 60. Resident Evil 2, $19.79 versus 60.
That's totally worth it.
Sekiro Shadows Die
Yeah.
Twice, $39 versus 60.
Worth it.
Wolfenstein The New Colossus, $19.79 versus 60.
New Colossus. That's the second one. Yeah, that's good.
That's Wolfenstein 2.
That was worth it.
So yeah, really, really, really good sales right now. That's not everything that's on sale, but it's certainly the ones that are kind of the best deals out there in the sale. So yeah, check it out on the PSN. It is the games are available until February 18th. So there you go. Your next item, Nick?
I didn't actually have anything else.
Okay. Let's see what I've got. Community challenges. Plants versus Zombies. I have to write the headline for this because I was expecting you to have something. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare Community Challenges have been discontinued. So, in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, these community challenges allowed you to be able to get certain achievements. These community challenge, they've deactivated these community challenges, and when that happens, you will no longer be able to get all the achievements for the game. So you can no longer platinum the game because they've discontinued the achievements. So yeah, both the community challenges and hero showcases will no longer be supported. I can see that made a huge effect on your lives. You're dumbstruck.
I know.
Stunned,
You know,
speechless.
I play so much Plants vs Zombies.
Yeah, it's still a
I
pretty
don't know
popular
what
game.
I could do without it. I know it is, but it's like if you gave, it's just not something that I care much about. I know there's news about Apex Legends, like they started season 4, but honestly, I am not the person to ask about that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And the other big, really
looking,
big news. Yeah.
this is just a goofy thing. I'm on Polygon, and someone turned a treadmill into a PS4 controller to make Death Stranding the ultimate walking simulator.
That's kind of
That
awesome.
would be something I would do. I would love to
Share
get some.
that screen, dude. Did they have a video of it?
Get my steps
Just
in.
go to Polygon Death Stranding. Just Google that and you can find it.
I would love that. Get some exercise while playing games. I always wanted to get a treadmill and hook up the laptop.
I mean, to be fair, that's what Ring Fit is. I guess in games I've been playing, like I'm still playing Ring Fit, and I'm still enjoying that. Actually, every time I think like I've seen what that game has, it expands. Like after a couple hours, in the beginning, it's just you going through these levels, getting to the end, fighting the big dragon, and then at a certain point, it shows a skill tree. Like there's an actual skill tree that you use, and every time you level up, you get skill points that you can use to make your attack or defense stronger, or to unlock new moves. And just as I got like halfway through that skill tree, it expanded, and I'm like, God, Jesus! Every time I think I'm sort of getting into the end game, it's like, nope, you're not. So yeah, that's a Ring Fit. It's just a super well designed exercise game that like actually makes the game part important.
So here it is. Here's
Yeah.
the guy. They've made the treadmill.
Excuse me.
And for some reason, the stuff isn't going off. Yeah. So they created it, the treadmill, and there is the treadmill being used.
I like that they have
genius.
I like that they have the straps on the back so that you can actually lean forward and move.
It doesn't look like as much fun as I was picturing in my mind.
No, it's really fucking hard.
What? Yeah.
I guarantee you, I would not put 60 hours into this version of Death Stranding.
No, not at all.
At a certain point, I'd look up and see a mountain and just think, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
freaking awesome.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah, that's
Bad
funny.
idea. Bad idea.
Bad idea.
Good mod. Good mod.
Good mod, bad idea. So, let's see. My next item is kind of the big news of the week-ish. GeForce now has a game streaming service. So NVIDIA launched, I believe it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Launched a new version of the GeForce Now, its game streaming platform. And the service is in closed beta and has been since 2015. Now it's open to the public, and it's got two different subscription models. One is the paid version, which is $5 a month, and one is free. And it uses remote servers to run the games and on the cloud and stream them to your screen, just like every other streaming service. And they're looking to be competing with Google Stadia and Microsoft Project xCloud. But this service, there's some very distinctly different things that make it different from the Google product and the Xbox or the Microsoft product. It lets you stream games from PC to your Mac, PC, NVIDIA, Shield TV, or Android-based device. And since the GeForce Now is a storefront, it does not sell the games itself. The service plays the games based on your library in existing platforms like Steam and Epic Games. So it's not like Google in that you buy the game from Google and you play it on their service. You actually buy it from Steam and Epic Games and play it through your GeForce Now account.
That's probably better because, from what I understand, the problem with Stadia is that it kind of is like a new console, so developers have to put work into porting the game to Stadia.
Right.
Which
These
is what you
games
don't have to do here.
Well, sort of. You have to make them the GeForce Now compatible.
Okay,
and
but
you
that's still
can
just
search
compatible.
to see if your game is GeForce Now compatible. But
Okay.
that's a whole lot different than actually making a Stadia game for
Importing
Stadia.
an entire game.
Well,
Yes,
why wouldn't you just
exactly.
play on Steam?
Because you're actually streaming it from the GeForce servers. And
Okay.
it's
Well, I
gonna
guess
be
what that
faster.
means-
B,
what that
you never
means
have to worry
is-
about updating your game because it all updates on the GeForce
Well, I guess
servers.
what that means is my computer doesn't actually need to be able to play that game.
Your game does your computer
I could take
does
my-
not right. You could
I
take
could
your
take my
shitty
shitty
internet
PC,
computer. Right.
Sign up for a GeForce account,
Mhm.
and then buy any of those games and have them stream to my shitty PC in a way that actually looks Nice.
Right. It offloads all of the processing for your computer to GeForce's servers.
Okay.
So you can play a bigger game better on a lesser computer. You can do it on your laptop or your
Be
whatever.
interesting to see what games they have. Do they have any jigsaw puzzle games?
Maybe
Yeah.
possible. You can search on the GeForce. If you you can use it there. They have a search tool, and you can do a search to see if your game will run on the GeForce Now. So all you have to do is sign into the platform, and then for which you own the game, to validate your ownership, and then the game will run it in the cloud. And there's at least 30 free-to-play games available on the service, like Destiny 2, Warframe, and Fortnite, already existing. So it's actually, and that's the other thing, is you can actually use this as a free service. It's a free service that runs in the cloud your game for you and streams it to you. It could all be free. If you play, say, for example, Warframe using GeForce Now's free account, then you could run Warframe on your tiny little shitty laptop and it would run beautifully. And you wouldn't pay a cent for it.
What was that other service? Was it Live Now or Now Live? Or?
Yeah. What was it? What was the name of that one? The first streaming service that came
On
out?
Live.
On
On
Live. That was
I liked On Live, although I did have some issues with some of the streaming, but I played a bunch of games with that service.
If you liked
and what I
On
liked
Live,
about
you
it,
should look at Stadia and or GeForce and or Project, what was it, xCloud.
there was I think I played like Defense Grid and a few other games. Nothing too heavy on that you need a reaction time for, because it did pixel out a lot on me, because that was still 10, 12 years ago, whatever. But all in all, I did not mind that service. That was an all right service, that On Live. And I was sad to see them go.
Yeah. Well, they're back and run by bigger companies, probably using the same technology
So
that was
what do I
purchased
search?
by whoever bought
GeForce Now
GeForce
games?
Now,
All right.
Google
So
Stadia, and Microsoft Project xCloud. All of them are streaming services like Google Stadia.
all right.
GeForce Now can play games up to 1080p resolution and up to 60 frames per second.
Call of Cthulhu, but that's going to be free on Xbox in a few days. Batman. Now, yeah, you have to buy the games, right? So you can't just play them.
No, it is not like a subscription account that an all you can play.
That was
subscription
what
account.
was good about On Live.
Well, there are a bunch of free games available. You just have to find the free
Not
games.
for On Live.
No,
Online, you had to pay for the games.
Yeah.
Well, some you did.
Right. Same
there
thing
was
with this.
there was some online, like they had a block that here are all the games included in your membership, so to speak.
Right, and a number of those games, all three of those platforms have free games available to you. But if in the case of GeForce, you're actually using your own purchasing of the games elsewhere or downloading these free games and then playing them through the GeForce servers.
Well, I keep going there to find the games.
So you own your game.
Join
That's the other thing,
today.
is you own your game. That game is still owned by you. You bought it from Steam or you bought it from elsewhere, and then you play it on their servers and stream it to you. That's a very, very, very big difference compared to Stadia, where you purchase the game from you purchase the game from Stadia, from Google. But if Google goes away, if they fold up Stadia, you don't have your game anymore. Big difference. So yeah, it's a kind of a big deal, and it's kind of funny that GeForce is doing something really, really kind of cool, and they've been testing it since 2015. They've been testing it a fucking long time.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I didn't really know about this.
Wow,
when
this
you
is
compare
shitty.
this
I think
to
I think they've
the
been
media blowout of Stadia, why is
I
it
think
that GeForce didn't make a bigger deal about this?
because I think they've been testing it quietly because they've been testing it. They did what Google should have done in that they spent a couple years, actually making sure the system worked and kind of getting it all worked out, I think. And now
Right.
they're kind of ready to launch it. Or not launch it, but open the beta to all, which
Free
is
it
what
to the masses.
yeah,
Let
which
it
is
go for
Google
range cage free.
Google and Stadia, they basically got a little overexcited.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that this GeForce now seems like of the three, certainly the most fully formed and absolutely the one that is of the most benefit to gamers because you own the game. It's not you for all intents and purposes, renting the game from Stadia
Hmm.
or from the streamer. It's you in control, and if they go away, you still own that game. It is still in your library. It's still on your Steam library. You can play it anywhere. You just can't play it on their servers. And there's a free version of it that isn't,
Yeah.
that's not this is a streaming service I just might do.
Hmm?
That's the fact that I can pick it up and play it from any of my shitty laptop, my good laptop, my desktop, any of the places where I play it, because of course all the saves stay out there as well on the streaming service, I believe. So you're actually playing it through their service. You're saving it on your service, that service. You just let it stream to you, and you can play it anywhere on any device.
So
and
the
keep that
free
same save.
the free membership,
Yeah.
you can play it for 1 hour. That's it.
1 hour at a time, or
1
1
hour,
hour
1 hour
total?
session. 1 hour
Okay.
session.
So it seems like the free membership is basically, hey, does this work for you?
Yep.
Well,
for
no, one
$5
hour
a
at a
month.
time. For
Right.
$5 a month, you can play it unlimited amount of time. But for the free version, you get to play it 1 hour a day, which is more than enough time for most people to be playing games.
But if you bought a game and I can only play for an hour.
Well, you can play it for an hour on playing it natively on your computer all you want. You own that game. It is your game. You're just offloading it to their servers so that you don't have to have your computer actually doing all of the calculations, and maybe it looks shitty, maybe it doesn't play.
It says you can link your game library. So that would mean my Steam.
Your Steam library.
So
So
okay.
Right. That makes perfect sense. For free, you can play on their servers using their machinery and their data stream and essentially play that game on a supercomputer 1 hour a day for free. That's a pretty good deal.
I mean, for free, yeah. Yeah.
And then for $5 a month, you can play it unlimited. That's also a really good deal to play a very graphics heavy game on a supercomputer, and it streams to your laptop as opposed to playing it on your laptop, which you can also do.
Better deal than Stadia.
Way better deal than Stadia on a lot of levels.
Maybe. We'll see.
So, yeah. And the most important one, if it fails miserably, which is entirely possible, it goes away and you haven't lost anything. You don't lose your game. Your game is still in your library. You can still play it like you always have. So yeah, this GeForce streaming service seems to be the shit, at least for right now. Yeah. So, and it's AC Ray says it's like playing Steam games on your phone. Yep.
Except I don't know if that's possible because the phone has a different control setup.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we played, what was it? What did we play on the phone using Stadia?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
But we had
Indeed,
to
Mortal
plug a
Kombat
controller.
fun.
We had to plug a controller in.
Plug a controller in, but you can still play it on your phone.
That's true. I guess, yeah, you could do that.
Mm-hmm. How nice would that be if you're sitting waiting for jury duty and you can actually play Death Stranding on your phone?
Except, I guess Death Stranding is actually coming out for PC later, so that would be a case.
Yep. So, or Skyrim on your phone and have it be a full game. And all you have to do is bring your phone and an extra controller and just sit there and play it on your phone. So, yeah, that's kind of a big deal. In other news, new sci-fi RPG from BioWare veterans has been announced. It looks like it's kind of cool. I did not, because I'm used to you being around to talk about something. I need to write this up.
Hello? Hello. I'm talking about things.
You suck, man. Okay, so BioWare
there's
veterans.
a trailer for Chris Rock's new Saw movie
Shut up.
that put out.
Okay,
hey,
so
I'm excited for that. Fuck you.
The new sci-fi RPG has been announced by a bunch of veterans from BioWare, and it sounds very familiar. This is according to the Archetype website, which says that this brand new studio, by the way, it is Dragon Age Origins creative director James Olin and Chad Robertson, also at BioWare. It's called, they started a new studio called Archetype Entertainment. It is an original sci-fi RPG. And
terrible name. That does not roll off the tongue very
Archetype?
well. Archetype Entertainment. Bad. Yeah,
maybe.
Why can't you just call it the Shadow app? That'd be so much better.
So according to its website,
that's also a bad name.
According to its
like,
own
I don't
website,
want my voting app to be called Shadow app. What the fuck? that's inviting conspiracy theories right there. Hey, vote with the Shadow app.
It's like shady car dealer. Car dealer. Well, it's that big tree in front. We're in the shade.
Yeah, that's the shade. Yeah, no, I'm all on the up and up.
The Archetype's website says that they're based in Texas and they're, quote, an autonomous division of Wizards of the Coast.
Okay.
And they're assembling a quote unquote world-class team to build a multi-platform role-playing game set in a new science fiction universe.
It'll be great if this universe is just a ripoff of Mass Effect, which was just a ripoff of which was just a ripoff of Star Wars.
Yes. And that's exactly what people are thinking.
Layers of ripoff here.
Is that since they didn't make a good Mass Effect, certainly in the last time, and then first off, they fucked up the end of Mass Effect, and then they stopped making Mass Effect because it was such a fucked up situation. They're actually making Mass Effect for all intents and purposes, but it's a new universe by a different name. It's called Smash Effect.
Well, no, if they have any sort of psychic powers.
Yeah. Robertson said, who's Architect's general manager, said, we're leaning on the experience and talent of our entire team to create what we believe is the next generation of acclaimed narrative-driven role-playing games. Very intriguing. Looks like we'll have to watch. So, it's a little, the fact that you got two big BioWare games. One of them was a Dragon Age Origins creative director. One of them was another veteran from BioWare, and they both left and they started a new place, a new studio that is a independent division of Wizards of the Coast, and they're working on a sci-fi. A new sci-fi RPG, and they're talking about narrative-driven games. where you're the what was it? Something else they said that was a little on the nose. Let's see. Archetype is a chance for us to build the type of role-playing game that we love to play. Video games are a uniquely interactive medium. They allow us to give the player powerful choices that have real consequences on how the story unfolds. Yeah, it's pretty pablum, but if you read too much into it, and everybody's reading way too much into it, is that it sounds like it might be another Mass Effect, but not a Mass Effect. Obviously, which I'm okay with that. More BioWare veterans from games like Dragon Age and Mass Effect going on and starting their own studios to make RPGs. I'm all right with that. And if you want to see the website, AC Wraith has provided the link in the chat and or on the screen, depending on how you're watching right now. In other news, let's see what else I've got. All right, my last item. Because the last item always has to be a story of the weird. Here's another story of the weird. 21-year-old Ryan Hernandez has pleaded guilty last week to charges related to the 2016 theft of confidential files related to its console and games. Remember that there was a huge breach and a bunch of confidential information about the Switch came out before the Switch was out? Designs and information.
This guy's no Justin May, let me tell you.
It was all pre-release information about the Switch console, and somebody essentially hacked a Nintendo, found all these files, and then released them back in 2017.
I don't remember that, but I can totally believe that happened.
Right. Yeah, that happened. Well, 21-year-old Brian Hernandez was identified as the guy who did that, and they busted him. In the process of busting him, by the way, he did that in 2017. The FBI turned up at his house and said, don't do that anymore. And he's like,
oh, did he do it?
I'm really sorry.
Don't tell me he did it again.
A year later, he hacked into multiple Nintendo services and stole confidential information about various popular video games, consoles, and developer tools. And then he went on to platforms such as Twitter and Discord and bragged about how he hacked Nintendo again and stole more stuff. In a Discord FBI called Ryan's Underground Hangout.
Oh my God.
It does not say if he's from Florida, but I'm going to assume he is.
How? When the FBI comes to your door and says, like, we know exactly what you did, we're not going to punish you for it this time, but don't do it again. You probably take that warning. I don't think many people get that warning.
Yeah. So he did it in 2017. They gave him a warning. He did it again in 2018.
Wait, how old
and then
is he?
openly bragged
how old
out.
Is he?
He's 21 now, so he was 18.
Oh
when
God!
That started doing this. And went on and then bragged about it all over social media and on Discord servers, which have recordings.
Yeah, you can just fucking throw the book at him. At that point, that's just stupid. It's utterly stupid.
But wait.
Oh, God.
There's more. So after he got busted again, or after he hacked Nintendo again, publicly bragged about it, in 2018, this led to a June 2019 raid on his home because the FBI revisited again and said, okay, we're not fucking playing. They raided his home and they found storage containing, quote, thousands of confidential Nintendo files and hardware used to play pirated games and a huge collection of, wait for it, anyone want to guess? What would somebody like that have a huge collection of?
Pirated games.
Think worse.
Child porn.
You got it.
Oh, I was going to say GameHounds podcasts.
Yeah.
A huge collection of child pornography, quote unquote, and this is true, sorted in a folder directory labeled bad stuff. That's like that guy in Florida who got busted with a bag of drugs labeled a bag of drugs, which actually did happen yesterday. I just read.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, because Florida.
You know, Justin May was 10 years ago. And we still talk about him
Really?
on this show, and I still remember his damn name 10 years ago.
What did he do? I don't know. Who's Justin May?
Justin May was the guy who went to PAX with the thumb drive and went up to, I forget what game it was, and downloaded a game onto his an
It was a game in
unreleased
beta too, yeah.
Right.
It was a military
unreleased,
game, yeah.
and he went up with the
Oh,
thumb
I remember
drive,
that. It was like
downloaded
an
it on the
indie
thumb
military
drive,
game.
and then tried to walk out. Yeah.
And he said, I just wanted to try the game out.
I just wanted to try the game at home. Yeah. Yeah, no.
That was like one of the first PAX Bostons too.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the first PAX Boston.
Yeah, it might have
Say
been.
hi, everybody. Engineer Kevin.
Breach. The name of the game was Breach.
Breach. That's
And then how funny
right.
he breached.
Yeah. So he has been pled guilty. He hasn't been sentenced yet to both the Nintendo-related hacking and child pornography. They're both federal crimes. Prosecutors and his defense are recommending that he spend 3 years in jail. Of course, he could spend up to 25 years in jail if the judge says, 3 years is not enough. And that is entirely possible, given that there is a massive amount of child pornography mixed in with all of this Nintendo hacks. He has also agreed to pay $259,000, actually almost $260,000 to Nintendo, and will also have to register as a sex offender. So I'm just going to call him Florida Man, even though his name is Ryan Hernandez. I'm going to say Florida Man. It does not say where he's from. He's got to be from Florida. He's got to be from Florida.
Yeah. He could be from a number of places.
Yeah. So in the Tales of the Weird and people too dumb to be in society,
And to
that's
think,
one of them.
He got away with it the first time.
Yeah.
The FBI came to his door. He's got all this shit in his garage. The FBI comes to his door and then walks away, and he's like,
with his and never even looks at his folder labeled
the
bad
stuff. Yeah. And he's like, oh, I dodged that bullet. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah.
Oh,
not super smart.
Just know how to quit when you're ahead.
Oh, and thank you, AC Wraith. He has provided us a link for the bag full of drugs, which is a real story of a Florida man who was pulled over with a bag in the back of his car that said bag full of drugs, which prompted the police to open the bag full of drugs and find drugs.
This is probable cause, right?
Right, probable
We
cause.
saw something suspicious.
It said bag full of drugs.
Oh my god! Did you look at this link?
Which one?
The bag full of drugs link.
No.
Do you see the
I can't pull up.
I highlighted
mine.
and copy and pasted. The text
I
on the
can't
bag
copy
full of
paste.
drugs,
Yeah.
it's not like written in Sharpie. It's printed on there.
Right.
And it's not like a little label, it's bag full of drugs.
Right. No, this is a
Like
a
the
news.
The text is the size of the bag itself. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
I said, it's printed on the bag like it was made, maybe has like a joke or something.
Right.
But it's
let me see if I can get this. Stand by.
It is. I mean, labeling something bag full of drugs is one thing, but this is a level of unsubtlety that I was surprised by. If anything, what you want to do, if you're transporting drugs, you have a bag that says bag full of drugs that's not filled with drugs, so that when someone checks it, you can go, oh yeah, I just have the bag as a joke, ha ha ha, and they're like, okay, let's not check your other bag, which is actually filled with drugs.
Mhm.
That's the decoy bag.
Yeah, this is a
the
very,
bag that says
very
bag
low
full
res
of
image
drugs.
of it, but there it is, right there.
That should be the decoy bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you
That's
don't
not
put
when you-
drugs in the bag full of drugs.
Yes.
Find another bag. But yeah, they so yeah, there's your bag full of drugs. And yes, the guy got busted with the now when my first year that I went to Burning Man, one of the things you want to do is you want to reduce all of your packaging so that you don't have things to throw away. And sometimes you don't need to bring a whole amount of something because it's a matter of space and packaging. So Kevin, you want to bring some baking powder because you need baking powder for lots of different, or baking soda. Baking soda is a very handy thing to have out there.
Excuse me.
And I didn't want to bring a whole box of baking soda. It's hard to pack. It takes up space. It's got, a box on it that we would have to dispose of if we used it all. So I took a Ziploc baggie and I filled it with baking soda.
Okay.
One of the things about Burning Man is that there is drugs all over Burning Man.
I can see where this is going.
And we were, that's always a thing about how if you get pulled over, don't have drugs in your car because it's pretty obvious you're going to Burning Man. Cops will absolutely pull you over and search your car because you're going to Burning Man. They assume you got drugs in the car. Well, we didn't have drugs in the car, but I did have a Ziploc baggie full of white powder. So I took a Sharpie and wrote, "Not cocaine." And sure enough, somebody at Burning Man that year asked me, "Hey, do you guys have any baking powder?" Kevin comes out of the RV and goes, "Hey, Bob needs some baking powder. Do we have any baking powder? Where's the baking powder?" I'm like, "It's in the second drawer on the left, labeled. It's in a white baggie or in a Ziploc baggie. It's labeled not cocaine." And everybody had exactly that reaction. Because it looked like a bag of cocaine. I just wanted to make sure the cops know this is not cocaine.
But like, if a cop did search you and he found that bag, labeling it not cocaine,
right,
is not going to really do anything.
Right, but he would look at that bag and open it up and go, "Oh, and it's like it's baking." When you say, "What is this?" and I'm like, "It's
any rational person
not cocaine."
Any rational person would look at that bag and go, "That's probably cocaine."
Any rational person who knew cocaine would go, "That's not cocaine." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I labeled it not cocaine. It's baking soda." So remember,
not cocaine.
Make sure that if you're transporting something that looks like drugs or that is drugs, don't make it look like it might be drugs.
Put it in a bag labeled not drugs.
Not drugs. Especially if it really looks like drugs.
I keep all of my porn in a folder labeled not porn.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Just make sure that when you put your porn in a folder that says not porn, that it isn't porn. Because if you...
Yeah, it's true. That's the decoy folder.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's the decoy folder. Because then, A, you weren't lying. And B, it's like, yeah, I know. It looks like 1,000 images.
I actually keep all my porn in a folder named GameHounds podcast.
Right. Exactly. So anyway, on that note, anything else before we want to talk about before we close out this show other than our Patreon? We have a Patreon. We would love to have you become a Patreon sponsor. It is www.patreon.com/GameHounds. Look for GameHounds on Patreon. Every little bit helps. I am amazed at how many people on YouTube actually have significant Patreon patronage, which is kind of nice because we actually our video stream is funded entirely by our Patreon subscribers. Our major Patreon sponsors being Terry Sweeten. Thank you so much for being a major Patreon subscriber. I appreciate that. And it offsets a lot of the costs because for the last 12 years, I've been paying for this pretty much out of pocket. And this is now that I'm unemployed and have lots of time to play games and actually do this kind of stuff, I don't have the money to be able to spend as much on things like video streams and subscription services and syndication services and all the other stuff that, nickel and dime me all the way along, so that I end up paying several $100s a month to have this podcast. So even $1 would help. Any amount would do. So go to patreon.com/GameHounds. If you love this show, show us love by ensuring that that the future can remain for GameHounds podcast. And anything else, Goalie or Nick? And yes, thank you for the link, AC Wraith in the chat room. Anything else before we close out the show?
Nope.
All right, gentlemen. Stand by. We have to do it. All right, let's close this out. You've been listening to GameHounds episode 531. We recorded this on February 5th, 2019. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Holy Goalie and Nick DiNicola. Ways to get a hold of us. GameHounds.net is our website, and gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record this show live every Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. That's speaker with our Spreaker.com. And that is where our video or our podcast audio feed is. You can listen to it on Spreaker, on iHeartRadio, on iTunes, and download it. If you listen to it anywhere, please leave us feedback, especially on iTunes. We would very much appreciate that. Good, bad, or indifferent, it does help other people find us and grow our GameHounds Nation. If you ever want to watch us live doing the show video, we have this on video feed. We video feed on YouTube and on Facebook. Under YouTube, it's GameHounds Vids, VIDS, and on Facebook, it is under The GameHounds. Incidentally, The GameHounds, our Facebook page, is lovingly curated by our very own piss boy, Steve M. Hawk Ortegon, and he provides news throughout the week, more than what we talk about. If you're interested in knowing what's going on with the industry, follow our Facebook page. On Twitter, we are at GameHounds, and did I just do the whole thing? Wow. Join us next week. We would love to have you. Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. Nick, Goalie. Oh, also, any link that anything we talked about on this show, AC Wraith has done the link in the comments, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Spreaker, iHeartRadio. It's all the links are there. So if you can't find something by Googling it, just go to the page and look at the comments. Find the link there. Nick, Goalie, we will talk to you next week. Don't forget, donate to our Patreon. It helps us go into the next 12 years, knowing that GameHounds is safe and will continue to podcast. Thank you so much, Nick. Thank you so much, Goalie. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone. And our video is done. We're just waiting for the music to play out. YouTube and Facebook are still live.
Oh, happy birthday, AC Wraith.
Oh my gosh.
I love the feedback at the end of the show. It's a really good feedback. All right. So, all right. I think that's it. I've got nothing to do except go to the bathroom because all that coffee hit bottom about 10 minutes ago. AC Wraith, happy birthday. His birthday was Sunday.
I gotta jump out. I got
fucking
some
birthday.
Nick's
birthday's coming up next week, right?
No, it was it was last month.
Oh, it was last month.
13th.
Right. So Goalie's birthday's coming up.
Yeah, April.
All right. Good to know. Nick, Goalie, see you next week. Thank you for showing up again, Goalie. I hope you're up here next week. We
Yeah,
miss you.
I hope you get that shit worked
I just
out.
found out I got more malware on one of my websites. Unfucking believable.
Who are you doing the website through? Is it?
Fucking GoDaddy again.
Oh yeah, no,
They
GoDaddy.
suck. But I left them. I went to another company, and people couldn't get there because that company was blacklisted, so they couldn't even get to the site.
Oh.
So I went back to GoDaddy with a new setup, and everything's been working. But they keep getting fucking hacked.
DreamHost.
Yeah.
DreamHost has for $100 a year, you can host as many websites as you like. It's unlimited amount of website hosting. DreamHost. The GameHounds site never been hacked. DreamHost.
Oh man.
The only one I know of-
Even when back in the day when it was a shitty WordPress site that I hadn't updated WordPress in like 10 generations, so it was wide open for hacking. It never got hacked. It isn't now anymore.
Where the fuck is this fucking phone number I gotta call? Jeepers creepers. All right, I gotta go do this. I'll talk.
All right.
I'll email you about that other podcast.
Yes,
I did.
email
Yeah.
about the other podcast. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. And if you want, I mean, I'm happy to host. Well, I'm happy to host your podcast on my DreamHost account.
All right, because you can do unlimited websites.
I can do unlimited websites.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay.